energy coming in, and I need someone, what you say, participation coming in. Because if you don't tell me what has been your insights, what has been your learning from yesterday, there's no way I'll be able to understand and articulate and see where you really stand. Or otherwise, if you'll just be sitting there saying, like, okay, let me hear what she's saying, not participate. No one learns how to play cricket by just sitting there in the stadium and watch someone play cricket. You want to learn how to do something, come and be a part of it. Include yourself into it, participate, engage, work with me on this, because the more you're going to share your insights, the more you're going to go back, do that memory jogging, put that out here, is going to solidify for you. It's going to get you more insights, and it's going to get the others also more insights. So go to the chat box and give me more interactions, have more conversations, speak, because I love speaking to people. And I wish I could see you. What we're going to do today, tomorrow is, I think today also we are in the webinar setup. Tomorrow I would want to come in a setup where I can see all of you. So come from a place where you can put your videos on, because we'll do the setup in a way that I can see you guys on screen, because it's fun to talk to people. It's fun to see each one of you, interact with you, because it's a little weird not being able to see and talk, right? So yeah. Yes, understood that we have to catch the gap, need to learn that. I'm going to cover that today, and high energy wins always. Yes, absolutely it does. Right? All right, cool. So what you're going to do today is go to the next level and go to the next step. Um, oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. So we spoke about taking your prospects from the stage of I need this to I want this to I must have this. Right? When you take them through this journey is where they're actually then finding the resources, the way, the requirements for that they need for in terms of paying you the premium. So you don't have to worry about where they'll find the price from. You have to worry about how you'll take them from I need this to I want this to I must have this. Okay. How many of you did the best framework, did even attempt to do the best framework, got a little stuck, needed some insights, reached out to the team, had a word with them, asked them questions? Or if some of you who did it and got some insights, go and tell me in the chat box if you've been tried, if you've been attempted, because let's start with honesty as the first step. So go to the chat box and tell me if you even tried going through those questions and answered it. And were you able to answer it, or did you get stuck? Or did that give you some insights? Did that give you some awareness? What exactly happened for the ones who did it? Okay, Rahul says I tried. So if you tried, what exactly happened post that? Did you get the answers? Did you get the insights? Right. Somebody also got stuck. All right. Today, whatever we're going to do today, you're going to understand why you got stuck with that activity based on what we're going to cover today. So somebody even reached out to my team, and I was around at that time when you sent that message. So my team member was asking me this, that some participant reached out saying, I'm into machinery, I'm into production of machinery. My clients don't have a pain point, and they only come for some future prospective buying, right? And everybody comes for some future prospective buying. Oh, it was you. All right. So it's not true that your audience does not have a pain point. The first thing is, what problem are you solving? We'll come to that. So just hold on today. If you don't get insights and answers on this throughout when I'm talking about it, then towards the end, you could ask me this question again. All right. So, but then no, it's not never true that your audience doesn't have pain point. Doesn't matter what market you are in, you will have an audience which has a pain point, and it's just that you don't know that and you don't identify that. And today we'll talk about why is it that you're not aware about it, and how is it that you've not identified that, and how much money is that actually costing you. Okay. So quickly, let me just put up what we're going to cover today. So what we're going to do today is how to get people to pay you high ticket, and how actually people love paying premium, and how you can have it. So how you can actually not stop chasing people, get people to negotiate with you, get people to, stop coming after you and saying, please reduce the price. Rather come and tell you, okay, this looks really good. This is what I want. How do I get started? How do I actually have this? Okay, how many of you would want to have that in your business, where your prospects, where your clients come in and tell you, this sounds really nice. Tell me, how do we get started? Okay, I'm going to show you the steps that's needed for you as a business owner, for you to make that happen no matter what your industry is. Okay, then we're going to do how to stop the negotiation game, how to actually position yourself as a unique solution, which will get people to want to come to you rather than just running around in the market and seeing you as one amongst many other people. How to get out of the whole competition game. I had someone who asked me yesterday about competition and saying that how do I deal with the competition. So I'll tell you how to deal with competition today. how to increase your conversions or how to enhance your sales conversions, getting to your desired revenue blueprint. This is going to be very, very powerful. We are going to do with mathematical calculations your entire revenue blueprint for the next 6 months. All you need to do once you do this calculation with me is take up that piece of paper, put that out there, implement it step by step, and you'll get on the other side of it. Okay. And then we're going to do the most important thing, that is identifying the leaks in your sales system. A lot of people just think selling is about going out there and just talking or just some words or some communication. No, sales is not just about the words that you say. That's a last step of sales. You need to have a sales system in place. And lot of business owners do not have a sales system in place. And that is what gets you to struggle with revenue in your business. That is what gets you to have a challenge with making money, to making sales, because there's no system in place. It's just like, acha, abhi pyas lag rahi hai, abhi kuwa khote and let's drink water. That's not how you do it, right? So we're going to show you how to put a sales system in place, what is the challenges that you're having in your sales system, where are the gaps, and how you can actually fill that up, because that's the only way you can actually ever make money in your business. Okay. Um, and quickly, rules, keep your laptop ready to apply changes right here with me. Use the chat for interaction and let it explode. Use interactions, because that's the only way I get to know if you're on the same page, if you're getting what I'm saying, if you're in sync with it, if you have questions, what's running on in your head, and so on. So whenever I ask a question, please go ahead and use the chat for interactions and let it explode. And even for me, I'm not seeing any of you, so the best is to see that entire chat coming in and have a conversation, because it also keeps my energy levels up. And I know that, okay, I'm talking to the right set of people, otherwise I'm just guessing and talking, right? So please use your chat to interact and let it explode, and that's going to be a lot of fun. For the ones who are going to be active on your chat for all 3 days, we have some special awards coming your way, some special gifts coming your way, which will help you to actually further accelerate your sales much, much more faster. We'll share a little about that towards the end today. Note your GA movements as yesterday. So again, note your GA movements. GA, for the ones who were not there yesterday, GA is growth accelerator movements, which is about all the insights that I'm going to share here will give you a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of insights. And today is going to be, by the way, wear your seatbelt on, because today is going to be looking at the mirror moment for you, because it's going to give you a lot of insights and awareness about your business. Okay, so whenever you get these insights and awareness, go to the chat box and write GA1, GA2, GA3, whatever your number of that growth accelerator movement is, so that you can remind your mind, create an anchor to recollect it later, otherwise you're going to forget it. And most importantly, remember, knowledge is not equal to results, implementation is. So whatever we cover, please go to the chat box and implement, because implementation is power. That is when you'll actually see results, right? Otherwise, you can just keep, jumping from one webinar to another webinar, keep studying, reading books, keep going through YouTube, and expect for changes to happen. And that's not how change happens. Change happens when implementations happen, when there is a structure, when there is a system in place. That is where change happens. I want all of you to go to the chat box and tell me, what is your business about? Because it's important for me to know. What is your business about? And first tell me this, then I'll tell you what's the next thing that I want to ask. Okay, real estate, edtech, marketing agency, content marketing agency, exports, financial planning. Just started my career as a life coach, sales and service of centrifugal pumps, export of agro products, cafe, farm plots, solar, power, cosmetic, and surgery, planning to start a BDC mining farm, dentist, real estate, marketing company, prefab homes for second homes and resorts, recruitment, brand consultant, herbal food, trading of engineering goods, real estate, architect, interior designer, also sell insurance on weekends, healthcare, UPSC coaching, coach, training institute, tours and travels, mentoring, and consultancy, sales of diesel at doorstep. Okay, AI consulting services, cloud services, industrial safety, food testing, counseling, manufacturer of concrete brick machines. Okay. Machinery manufacturing, that's very vague. So please tell me most precisely which machinery manufacturing are you into? Analytics and AI, edtech, okay, softwares, 3D models, 3D configurations, All right, AR, VR. Okay, now here's the next question for you. Okay, what is we just starting off with a new financial year, right? What is your revenue goal that you have for this new financial year? Go to the chat box and tell me what is the revenue goal that you have for this financial year. Though we have a different activity that we're going to do around that, but just right now, let's just start with this. What's your revenue goal that you have for this financial year? Everybody go to the chat box and tell me what's your revenue goal for this financial year. Once year, once year, once year, once year, once year. How is it? Wow, everybody's on once year. 6 CR, 5 CR, 36 lakhs, 35 CR, 5 CR, 15 CR, 1 CR, 6 CR, 5 CR, 10 CR, 2 CR, 1 CR, 1 CR, 10 CR. By the way, write a realistic revenue goal as well, okay? And don't go by what others' numbers are, just write your number, don't worry. Okay, when we do the actual activity on this, we'll get to know. Okay, here's my next question for you. Since how long have you wanted or have you been desiring to achieve this revenue goal? Since how long did you have this desire to achieve this revenue goal? 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever your desire is. So since how long did you desire to achieve this revenue goal? Two years, 3 years, 3 months, 7 years, 3 years, 1 year, 2 year, 2 year, 2 year, 8 months, 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 year, 1 crore, 3 months, 1 year, 4 months, lifetime, 5 months, last 5 years, 5 minutes, then that's not even your revenue goal. That's just a dream that you're just putting out in thin air. For a while now, was near to it before COVID, but couldn't. 3 months, 1 year. Okay. Now here's my next question to you. If you have not achieved this revenue goal in the last 6 months, what is going to change now for you to actually get to that revenue goal in the next 6 months? If you continue doing things the way you're continuing doing, how do you anticipate to actually achieve that revenue goal in the next 6 months? If you have not achieved it in the last 6 months, how do you think that you're going to achieve that in the next 6 months? Oh, this webinar is going to give you insight, but let me be very honest and very upfront and straight about it. Implementation creates results. It's awareness that just helps you get insights. Okay, if you want implementation, then we're going to talk about the long-term journey later for the ones who want to work long-term with us and work more closely with the team. But this is going to give you insights. Okay, so I will not make you false promises saying that this webinar will, make you your revenue goal. No, it will give you a lot of insights for sure. Will give you a lot of eye opener. Will give you a lot of learning. But implementation is what creates results. Okay. Okay, so get the confidence, got confidence since yesterday's session in having a structured approach towards sales, building a sales system, more action and involvement, not sure, hit and try method, all right, adopting new ways. Stay with this answer towards the end of the day today. So here's the thing, right? Today we're going to have a little long day, but stay with me towards the end because we have some of the most important things to cover today. And the answers that you gave right now, 95% of your answers tells me you're not going to get to your revenue goal. I don't want to be sounding negative, but the fact is there's no clarity in the answer, and that tells me how your result is going to be. Right? So just stay back till the end of today because you're going to have a lot of insights coming your way, and then we will again reevaluate this answer and we'll see where you actually stand. Okay? Cool. Right, and for that, please participate. I want this level of energy and interaction to come in. So please participate and keep the engagement going on because we have a lot of things to do. The reason I asked you this question is because I'm going to share certain perspectives today, which is going to shake up your system. Okay, we spoke about hypnotic rhythm yesterday for the ones who remember that, right? You've been used to doing business in a particular way. You've done it over and over and over and over and over again in the same particular way. And that's where whatever results you have created have been created. Okay, that's the outcome of your results. Now, the only way you're going to see a different result being created is by doing things differently. So you will have two choices standing here today. Either go back to your old way of doing and then expect the same results, right? Because we have heard this. Just by doing the same thing and expecting a different result is insanity, correct? We have all heard this quote. So you either go back to your old patterns, keep cycling back, circling back, and just keep doing the same thing and see the same results, because if that's the results you've got, it's not changing. Okay, and hoping, wishing, magically just thinking doesn't change. Results in business changes with three things. One, change of your mindset and your approach. Second, change of your perspective. And third, change of your strategies. And you need all three of this put together for you to create a different result. Okay, so either go back to that or keep an open mind for a different approach, for a different way of learning. Implement that into your business. Either take help, take inputs, take feedback, whatever it is, but implement that into your journey and see the power of it. But both of this will need an open mind, okay? For you to do your own method, that doesn't need an open mind. You can just go back and do it. But anything that I'm going to share with you over here doesn't just come out of vague thin air of me just saying. This comes from thorough research, thorough study, research and understanding about how brands have done it, implementation into practice with thousands of businesses and seeing results of it. Okay, so just keep an open mind and see things from a different angle. Because if you're going to go back to constantly saying, but it's always the price that matters, but it is always the price, people come back to the price, then you're just keeping and going in that same loop. Right? See why it's not the price and why is it that people pay. If there is anybody in your industry who's charging more than you and getting paid, which means people pay. Right? If you know of people who are using premium phones, premium jewelry, premium handbags, premium travel, all of it, that means people pay. Right? Even in a flight, we have economy and we have business class. So if it was just about pricing, everybody just would have opted for economy, right? Or everybody would have just taken a most cheapest mode of travel. No, but there are more things attached to it. So keep an open mind to get this perspective and understand why people will pay premium and how you can become that business where you can charge premium. Okay, and that's what I'm going to share with you today of a different perspective. And yesterday we did mindset shift. Today we're going to do a perspective shift along with some strategy shift. Okay, so keep that open mind, go through this and see what this does to you. Okay, because either it will open door to a new opportunity and show you the possibility to create your revenue goal, or go back to your own methods. All right, and I had heard this years back from someone. If you want to make money and if you want to make phenomenal wealth, if 80% people are doing something in one side, you go to the 20%, because that is where money lies. Okay, and I agree to it. I saw that as a proof over and over and over again, and that's a fact. All right. Cool. So today is going to be your day to break your hypnotic rhythm and see things from a different light. So can I have that commitment from all of you that you will have an open mind and see a different perspective for your own business? Yes, can I get that commitment from everyone? Go and say a yes in the chat box, please. All right, thank you. That's helpful. Right. Cool, everyone, please go to the chat box and tell me a yes, give me a commitment to keep an open mind and understand a different perspective. Yeah? All right. Okay. All right. Right. Now, there are two ways to selling, right? One way to selling is, just like I said, be like many others in the market. Then you just become the competition. Yesterday, somebody asked me, how do I deal with competition? We'll tell you that a little later. But if you're doing what everybody else is doing, you become just like many others in the market. You become someone who can be compared to. And there'll be many competition there. So somebody would be selling a cheaper quality at a lesser price. Somebody would be selling at a lesser price. Somebody would be willing to lower their profit. Somebody, whatever reason, right? But you'll always have someone who's selling it at a lesser price. You'll be compared to. So the only option in that time for you to do business would be to keep lowering your price. Okay, so either what you could do is you could keep lowering your price and you're saying, okay, today someone's priced at A, you're pricing at B. Tomorrow somebody else will price at B and they'll slash your market. Okay, and if you're going to do business from that place, that's going to be a constant stressful place and also a low profit place to do your business from. Okay, otherwise, if you can be something like Reliance or something like a Walmart where you can just completely destroy the market and be the lowest in the market ever, that's a different ball game altogether. Okay, so I read this somewhere. If you can't be the lowest in the market, then there is no privilege in being the second lowest. And I love that line. I said, this is brilliant, which is true. Right? So if you can't be the Walmart, you can't be the Reliance of your industry, then you can't say that, oh, I'm not the cheapest, but I'm the second cheapest. It doesn't work. There's no privilege. Okay, people will either go to the cheapest, that's an option, and if that's not possible, someone can Reliance can do because they have a lot of funds and they have the ability and the capacity to destroy that market at that level right now. Okay, if you don't have that capacity and that ability and that access to that level of funds, then that's not going to be a healthy place to do business from, because then you can keep doing business, keep lowering your profits, keep worrying about competition, keep wondering who's bringing a lower product, keep worrying about why people are not paying from you, so on and so forth. And that cycle and that loop will continue. Otherwise, there is a separate and a second option to do sales from. How many of you want to know the better way of doing sales, where you can charge premium, get people to pay you, not be worried about the competition? How many of you would want to know that? Tell me a yes. Go and tell me what is the second option. Ask me what the second option is, and then I'll tell you. Second option. Okay, cool. I have some great open-minded people here. Yes, brilliant, 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 brilliant. Want to make my own market? I'll show you how to do that. Create your own small pond and be the whale of it. We'll show you how to do that. All right, brilliant, brilliant. So before we go to the second option, let's first understand why is it that people actually fail at high ticket selling. What is the reason that people don't actually make money? Because people love paying premium. It's just that you've not identified, right? When you try to sell like everyone else, your audience sees you just as another option. And the cheapest option will always lose, right? Because it's like, oh, there's another someone else who's going to come in, right? But imagine what happens when you build your own category and when your offer would actually solve a unique gap and your clients start chasing you. What would that do for your business if you can do something like that? And if you can stop competing on price and start selling based on value, what would that shift in your business in the next 90 days? Go to the chat box and tell me this. If you stop competing on price and start selling based on value, what would that shift for your business in the next 90 days? What would happen once you do that? Close big sales, skyrocketed, the entire ball game changes. Selective clients, create your own category niche and own it. Yeah, go to the chat box and tell me what would that do for you? More money, niche crowd, yes, which also means more joy in working with your clients because that's a category you would want to work with. Will get more deals closed, lots more passion behind my work, more value, increased revenue. Absolutely, right? That is what that can do for you if you learn how to stop selling based on pricing and actually start shifting your focus towards value, right? And this is the most important thing that I get any business owner to actually do when we get started on the long-term journey. And that is these 5 things. The 5 reasons people fail at high ticket sales. It's not actually the pricing. The first and the foremost reason is how people perceive your product. Because you think you're selling your product, but you're not actually selling your product. What do I mean by this? I'll tell you in a while of what do I mean by this. You think you're selling a website, you're selling a healing program, a coaching program, or ed tech, or a software, or a machinery, or whatever. But that's not what you're actually selling. And we're going to talk about this in a while. You're selling a value. And if your message doesn't reflect that, they'll just scroll past you. they won't realize what you bring to the table. The second mistake that people do when it comes to high ticket selling is trying to sell to everybody. We'll talk more about this as well today. We're going to cover all of these aspects today, by the way. What happens with people is they say, okay, what's your business about? I'm a website developer. Who's your audience? Who are you trying to sell? Oh, everybody who needs a website. That's not how it works. If you're trying to sell to everybody who needs a website, now there could be someone who's selling a website for 5,000, there's someone who's selling a website for 50,000, there's someone who's selling a website for 5 lakhs. And if you want to charge 5 lakh, and if you're just trying to look at everybody who's selling, who needs a website, you'll also get the 5,000 people coming to you. And then you say, oh, people don't pay me premium. That's not true. That's because you've not identified the set of people who need that 5 lakh website. And how to come to that, we're going to talk about it in a while, and we're going to cover all of this today. Most important, not knowing what problem you solve. You know, when you have clarity, clarity sells. When you communicate, you need to speak about the solution you're creating for them. A lot of times we'll come to it when I ask people what problem they're solving, their communication doesn't bring in that clarity. Weak or no offer, there's no irresistible offer, there's no offer at all. Or if you have an offer that is nowhere tempting, that is nowhere makes you feel that compelling decision to buy. And if you don't have an exciting offer, your sales is going to dip. Poor sales mindset, I think that's the biggest, right? Like every single time, whenever we work with people, along with every step that we do, the first thing that we do is rewiring their mental state about mind. Because the first thing happens is when that changes, your entire ability to do sales changes. Instead of you feeling guilty or you resisting or you resenting or any of that. Okay, and imagine if you fix just one of these issues, how much money would that put back into your business? What would that do for you? If you just can change one of these aspects in your business, what would that change for you? What would that change if your clients, instead of saying, okay, we'll get back to you, can tell you how do I get started? What would change if your clients say, this is expensive, rather than that, they come back and say, this sounds really, really nice, probably a little out of my budget, but I'll still find a way to do this. What if instead of negotiating, clients actually want to pay you and say, tell me how can I make this payment easy? What would shift if your sales become like this? What would happen if instead of you chasing your clients come to you? What would happen if instead of waiting for a kab aayega koi client, you know how to create a flow in your business to create sales regularly and consistently? What would shift for you? Confidence will soar. Would you also teach us how to curate? Not now, right now. We're not going into the social media post segment right now, so not covering that. We do that a little later, but in the long-term journey, but we don't do that now. Increase revenue, selling a lifestyle, ease in business operations, builds confidence, can focus on scalability, break barriers and generate cash flow, set the path for success, help me financially grow. Yes. Right, and that is what we're going to talk about today, of how to fix all of these 5 and how do we work on this. So let's start with how to get to the second option, and then we'll go to fixing these things. The first option is be everybody. The second option is, first thing, identify a gap that you fill in the existing market. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah? Right. So identify the gap that you can fill in the existing market. What does this mean? Let me give you an example. Now, okay, let me give an example of probably an airline itself, right? Now, let's say there's an airline that already exists, which exists, everybody's traveling. So now everybody's traveling, there's an airline that's existing, it's a business which is in place, okay? But now suddenly one airline comes in and says, okay, what are the challenges that is happening in our existing market? There's not enough leg room. The seats are not comfortable. There's no healthy food option in the airlines. The hospitality is horrible. People are very plasticky. What else? So probably no good seats, no good leg room, no healthy food, and probably the hospitality is very bad. Now these are the challenges that's already existing in the industry. Then suddenly an airline comes in and says, okay, how do we fix these problems that's already there in our industry? Okay, and that's what one of the airlines have done internationally, and I think it is Virgin Airlines. I don't know the name clearly, but yeah, that's what one of the international airlines have done. Well, that's where they went ahead and became premium as well. They increased the legroom, they created more comfortable seats, they brought in more healthier foods, they got in more better hospitality in place, and that helped them become a premium in the existing market. That is what identifying a gap means. We'll talk more about this in a while. The second thing that you need to do is stop selling your products. People don't buy products. People buy results. When you're selling a product, you're selling a commodity, and people don't pay for commodities. Okay, when I say product, it means product service both, by the way. So don't think I'm only talking product. It applies to product and service both. This applies to all the market, B2B, B2C, D2C. It applies to all of these segments. Okay, I have seen this same segment, same aspect working with clothing, working with jewelry, working with edtech, working with real estate, working with architects, working with coaches, working with consultants, fitness trainers, salons, you name it, and we've done all machineries, industries, SaaS. We have used this concept and made it work no matter in which industry, and every single time people have got results. Right? I've seen people go from making a lakh to literally touching 10 lakhs a month. I've seen people to go from actually barely getting to a lakh to doing 25, 30 lakhs a month by putting this in place, because it's very easy, and it is, it needs insights, it needs a strategy, and it needs a system to make this happen. But once you do this, it becomes very effortless to bring in sales into your business. Sales is not only and only about the words you say or when you're sitting across with your client. A lot of time when I ask people, in fact, I want to ask you guys this. When do you think, as per you, the process of sales actually begins? When do you think, as per you, the process of sales actually begins? Go to the chat box and tell me. When do you think the process of sales actually begins? When you receive an inquiry, when you come up with a product, with lead generation, when we talk about the value, prospecting. When a customer agrees, when you create a product, when a client shows interest in what you offer, when we start listening to the client story, identifying a need for your customer, it's always on, we're always selling, that's nice to hear, but in reality, let's talk about when in your business, when does your sales process actually begin? Before clients actually approach you, when the lead is generated through an email, before even approaching the clients, once the pain point matches their solution, when developing a product. Correct. The process of sales does not begin when you start prospecting, when a lead is generated, when you get an inquiry, when you understand the client's needs, or any of that. A process of sales begins even before you develop a product or service. Sales is not just about when you sit with a client or when you have an inquiry or when you're getting a lead generation happening. And this is what people miss to understand. Okay, and that's what we're going to cover today and understand what actually process of sales means and what actually sales is and what are the smallest nuances which nobody is telling you about sales, where you are actually losing lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of revenue every single day on table just because you've not identified these things. You're just coming up with some scripts, some magical words that you think will change around your sales, some body language that will change your sales. No, if these basics and the foundation of your high ticket selling is not in place, you can use any script possible. I give it to you in writing, you're not able to get it. Then you will not get it. Okay, do I mean script doesn't play a role? It does play a role. I'm going to cover that tomorrow. Okay, that plays 10%, 15% role, but this is the firm foundation that needed for the script to work. Okay, so the process of sales starts even before your product or service is created. When I learned and researched on challenges I wanted to solve. Yeah, pretty much. Right? So you stop selling products, you sell value. You don't sell a commodity, you sell results, because an offers create value and people pay for results. That's the second option of how to sell premium. So let's first understand the gap you're filling in the market. Now I'm going to do this and break this down into step after step so that you can understand this better and you can see this. Now every time you're going to hear me give a story, an example, I want you to start analyzing this in terms of your business. Okay, I can either make this like very technical, very complicated, and everything will sound again, everything will sound to your logical mind, but you'll not be able to implement it because you only have so much energy there, and I don't want that energy to be burnt out. I want it to sync with you, and I want you to get a complete awareness of it so that it becomes easy to implement. Okay, cool. So let's first understand what is identifying the gap. Right now, Zomato. What is Zomato? Did Zomato start like another food business? Did it start a restaurant? No, right? What did Zomato say? Zomato said, I will solve your problem of wanting your food at 10:45 p.m. with a click, where you can chill out with your friends. That's what Zomato did. There were already restaurants, there were already people ordering from restaurants. What was the problem? You could only order from a particular periphery, not from a particular distance. And restaurants wanted to send food for a longer distance, but logistics were the issues. They couldn't send it. So Zomato said, don't worry, your problem, your problem. I'm going to come and solve it. People who want food at late night, I'm going to come and fix that for you. That's a gap that Zomato solves. There was a market existing, they just filled in a gap. Blinkit. What is Blinkit doing? Is Blinkit selling groceries? No, right? What did Blinkit do? Blinkit said, you know what? Okay, there's COVID that's happened. You know, there's challenges that people are having. You can't get down. There's a limited time to which you can go to grocery. Your grocery guy will send a delivery late night, or not at the time that you want. You'll have to keep waiting. Blinkit said, we will become your last minute app. Okay, and it is not selling groceries, it is actually selling time saved. It is actually making convenience for you. Right? I was recently in Goa, my daughter had to go for a school trip. In the night, she calls me around 10:30, whatever. She's in Mumbai, I'm in Goa. She has to go for a trip next day in the morning. And 10:30 in the night, she's saying the travel suitcases that is there in the house is not what I want to carry for my travel. I'm like, wow. Normal case scenario, I would have lost my mind. But I was like, okay, whatever. Just Blinkit. I'm on a holiday, not taking stress on this, searched it, Blinkit. Her choice of a suitcase came home. I said, okay, chill. And that is what Blinkit is doing. Convenience, ease, saving time, and the last minute delivery app. You get what I'm saying? They didn't start something new. Existing things, identified a gap, fill that in. So you are not actually in the business you think you are in. You are in the business of solving a feeling, a frustration, a fear, a challenge, or a ease for people. What is it that your product or service actually creates for people? One of my clients was charging like about, I think 10K, in fact, 10K or 12K for her makeup classes. And once we actually found out what was the real gap that she was selling, that she was actually filling, in a period of 3 months, she actually priced up her prices and she sold the same thing for about, I think 60K or so, and she's got people buying it from her. She's doubled or tripled her revenue, and the same business, nothing changed, but just positioned differently. What if your next 5 lakhs came from not changing your product, but by how you frame it? Think of this. If you could find your unique gap in the market, do you think that would change your revenue game? Instead of just saying, I sell websites, I sell real estate, I sell, all the businesses that you all just told me about. Would that change your revenue game? Are you with me? Are you getting what I'm actually saying? Are you guys with me? Are you getting a sense of what I'm saying? Yes, give me a yes in the chat box if you are. And if you're confused, go and tell me you're confused in the chat box so that I know. Okay. All right. Cool. What I'm going to do is, okay. Some of you are saying confused. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to make this a little more easier and simpler by explaining some real-time businesses which you can see, and which again, I'm going to take very simple day-to-day life business. There's any business that's succeeded in the industry, right? From a daily, bathing soap to any premium skincare, they have all identified this and done this, right? From a real estate company to even an urban club or any of them. So it doesn't matter service or product. If they're still a successful business, they've identified this aspect. Okay, so I'm going to go a little more deeper into this. The challenge or the problem that happens with people is they don't have a clarity of value of what they are solving for people. Okay, I want all of you to go to the chat box and tell me what problem are you solving in your business. I'll give you more clarity on this and then I'll move forward to show you how it is actually done so that you understand this in a more simpler, more easier language. What problem are you solving in your business? Yeah. Again, Vikram, I'll do with the examples that's going to come. You will have marketing agencies and you'll have many other businesses coming in. But again, I can't take each of the business that is there. I'm going to do the most easy, most common available so that everybody can relate. That's my aim. Okay. And we have done this for AI based companies. We have done this for marketing agencies. We have done this for you name it, and every single possible company. We have found that way of how we have done this for farmlands. Okay. So it works no matter what. Right. So what problem are you solving? Yes, absolutely for financial services as well. But again, I can't. If I keep giving you examples about all the businesses, we will have to sit here for the next 50 days. And you know that what I'm trying to do is this. This is my aim for you. With the limited time that we have over the next 3 days, yesterday was day one, today is day 2 and day 3. I want to, with the limited time, give you the maximum insight possible. Okay, this is a topic that I can spend the next 6 months to a year with you, and we will still have more to share, more to teach you, more to implement, more of things to do. Okay, but the aim is not for you to just here do a bombardment of knowledge. I'm giving you implementable steps that you can actually take up and implement and make that easy for you to see results. Okay. So please don't ask me to give you every segment and every industry example because it's not only practical possible for me to do it. Right. Here we, okay. Helping people buy their dream house. Vague. Ma'am, again, don't ask me for different industries. Increasing traffic and leads for clients using content. Now, everybody, if train you're into content creation company, then every content creation company is doing the same thing, right? So that is not going to be a problem that you're going to solve. Investment and insurance. Every other person is doing investment and insurance. Burnout in professionals. What kind of a problem are you solving with that? There's no clarity with that again. Helping schools adopt technology. I'm into edtech. Schools are already into technology. How are you solving a particular problem? No clarity. Generate ambience for client premise. No clarity. Physiotherapy, facing bargaining. I get what your problem is, but I'm asking what problem are you solving for your audience in your business? Okay, microgreens, we provide more nutrition in less quantity. Easy nutrition, kind of okay, but can be more specific and clear. Generate wow experience for clients, very vague. Application problem of customers, very vague. I'm saving time and providing convenience to manage sales team through app. Okay, pretty much good. Take business to the next level, finding a third home, space to relax and unwind. Again, vague. Please stick with the example of fitness for continuity. I will stick to the example of business for continuity. In fact, that's a good idea. I will tell you with the fitness example as well. Premium bath, beauty and hair product that reduce your monthly spa expenses by half from the comfort of your home. Vague. I'm not reading all of them that's written. I'm just picking and choosing. So helping people grow business by giving loans. Way helping people, MSME companies grow their business through a strong digital presence. Not clear, not powerful. So when your gap that you're solving is not clear, not precise, not powerful, and not tangible, people don't actually get clarity on what you're solving. And when they don't get clarity on what they're solving, they resist or they hesitate from paying you premium. Okay, and this exactly is what gets you to be stuck, or this is what exactly that gets people to resist you from paying premium because they're not getting clarity on what exactly are you going to help them with. And it just sounds something like every other business is doing. It sounds like every second business is doing the same thing. Okay, helping them create wealth. Again, no, vague. There's every second person is doing a Bitcoin today, right? So how are you helping? Right. So let's go and understand using some real-time businesses, very simple businesses, and I'll then finalize this with again the fitness one as well. Okay. Again, using simple businesses to make it easier for your mind to process it. Now, this is Namita. When we started working with her, she was making about 20 to 30K a month. She had some course for helping makeup artists enhance their makeup skills. Okay, she was charging about 10, 12K. And she said people negotiate, people bargain for such a low price, and she was barely getting to 20, 30K a month. As we identified her entire process, we understood what she's doing end to end, and that is what happens with most of the businesses. They are filling a gap already, but what's happening is you're so much into your business, you're so engrossed into your business that you're not aware about the gap that you're filling because you're in it and you need someone who can give you a bigger perspective and a different approach, right? Like last so this Wednesday, I went into a call where we were having a group that's working on this particular segment, and that's the same thing I told them. I said, write a process end to end from step 1 to step 10 because we will then help you evaluate what is the gap that you're filling. You don't have to get it; just write your process to start with. Now, once we evaluated her entire process, we identified she was not actually helping makeup artists enhance their makeup skill. She is helping makeup artists become beautypreneurs. That is what she was doing. Okay, and the minute she realized the value of what she was offering, she changed her entire curriculum fees from 10, 12K to about, I think she's now charging 30, 40,000. And she's making 2 to 3 lakhs a month. She went from charging for a bridal about 15,000 or so to charging a lakh. Now she was invited by Air Black. If you know Air Black, that's a very popular app for makeup related stuff, to be a part of their panel to teach makeup artists to become beautypreneurs. Why am I telling this to you? So that you could see how simple changes can make the big differences. Okay, this is Loknath and Kusum. They were into Indian clothing. Now again, they came and told me we're selling the regular Indian wear for daily usage. What is the gap we could actually fill, Smita? What are you even saying? This won't work in our industry. They were in a place where they struggled with sales. They said people go to brands because they are just a standalone store in Bangalore, and they had a challenge with people not coming to them because they were a standalone store and not a brand. They had stores close by which were shutting down, so business was at a very struggleful phase. And once we understood what they do, we ideally understood that they have a unique fashion for women with plus size clothing with no repeat designs. Right from changing their ads to their method of marketing to their sales, they now have got 2 stores in Bangalore. They've doubled their revenue in just 3 months. They've got people in Bangalore traveling 1.5 hours and coming. That itself is an unrealistic thing in Bangalore, but that's the realistic results that they've seen with their business. Okay, what small tweaks? Just identifying small switches. This is Unmesh and Urvi. Someone was asking me for marketing example. They had a digital marketing company. Earlier, these are like four co-founders. Earlier, they were into anyone who needs marketing solution for their business. That is what they said they do. Right? Everybody who needs a marketing solution, we are offering it to them. And they are, I think, IIT graduates struggling with their business, barely did a lakh or two in a month. Okay. Leads reaching cold outreach, conversions was very low, everything was very poor. They finally identified what they want to do. Now what they're doing is they're a one-stop solution for traditional FMCG businesses who don't have an online presence. Last I heard from them, they had done 15 to 18 lakhs a month, and now I think they've further exceeded it because when I've seen them for the awards that were coming in for the number I'm seeing is higher. But this was last I heard from them in November, right? So in terms of their numbers. So 15 to 18 lakhs is what they were doing from 1 to 2 lakhs just by identifying which market do they fit, who's it that they want to cater to, and what solution do they want to create. And that is what identifying what the gap is can do. Okay, now coming to fitness example, if you have to understand that. Now let's say there is someone in the fitness industry. Now saying, okay, I'm helping people lose weight. Okay, now you could be helping people lose weight. That is the end goal. Now if you're saying just through healthy diet, healthy food, this, that, whatever, that's not going to work. Now we have 5 active nutritionists who are currently actively going through the journey. For each of them, we have identified a different gap. Now one of them is helping people attain their healthy weight by just creating a change in habits. She's not doing anything else. Another one is helping people attain their ideal weight or lose weight by working on their HbA1c levels, that is pre-diabetic conditions and HbA1c levels. There's someone else who's working with helping people lose weight by just losing more calories, by certain kind of movements. Okay, the other one is now helping people lose weight by understanding the 5 systems of your body and actually transforming that and internally healing that and helping people achieve their results in their body. So each one, there can be a different gap. Doesn't matter what end solution you're helping them create. That's not what you're supposed to communicate. It's about how will people perceive the value that you're actually bringing in. Okay, guys, I told you all I can't take every industry example. I'm trying to make this easy and simple so that you can get it. The aim here is to identify that. Why is that important? Because once you start communicating that effectively to your clients, is where your clients will start seeing the value of it and they would want to come back to you and they would want to work with you and pay you the premium, because until unless you can't communicate that value, they are not going to see that value. Okay, what's the next thing that you need to do? So the first thing to understand is what's the gap that you're filling in? What problem are you solving for your market? Okay. What is the next thing that you need to do? Understanding how are you solving that problem for them without actually creating just or selling just a commodity or a product. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Just hold on. Okay. So the next thing is to understand how do you stop selling a product and actually create a solution. Okay, and that happens when you position yourself differently. When you identify the gap, you can communicate the value you're creating effectively. That will help you position yourself effectively. Okay, when you position yourself effectively or differently is where you stand differently from the competitor. Now, people are not comparing you with your competitor because the solution you're giving itself is a different one from the competitor. I've not put the presentation up. See me for some time, man. Why do you want to see the presentation all the time? So I'm talking to you all right now. So, when you position yourself differently from your competitor, the solution you're creating itself becomes different because the way you communicate your value becomes different. You don't just become a website developer, you become someone who is creating a different solution. If I have to use from a website developing example, let me see if I can put up the whiteboard and then we will move forward to the offer part of it. Give me a second. Team, I think I would need a little help. Oh no, I can find the whiteboard. Okay, I'm cool. Just hold on. Just 1 second. Just hold on, a little technical glitch for me, just figuring something out. Can you all see my screen? Yeah? Okay. Let's understand this. Let's assume you're selling a website. Okay. Now you're telling people that I'm selling a website. And then you want to charge 5 lakhs for it. And no one's paying you 5 lakhs for it. Okay. Because there's someone else selling it for 5,000. And then they say, oh, there's someone else selling for 5,000. Okay. Now there could be different purposes for which somebody could sell a website. Okay. And I'm not going into the details of it. Let's just, for example, take 3 different reasons. Someone could need a website for just having a digital presence. Okay, they just need a 1-page template which you can just copy paste and create. Someone could just need it for a little brand presence, not like an in-depth brand building, but just like a little more than a single page digital template. And somebody could need it to convert more leads in their business. Okay, now when you're saying you're just selling a website, everybody who needs a website is coming to you. So you're trying to sell to everyone. And that doesn't help you become the premium because you're not communicating your value effectively. Let's assume you actually help people convert more leads in their business And that is what your website does for them. Now what you're doing is creating a solution which is different and unique than everybody else, and that is solving a niche problem for someone. Okay, and you don't need to work with someone who needs a digital presence or just a brand presence. You specifically need people who are looking for this segment of it, who understand the value of it, who understand the need for it, and who will actually benefit and get a better ROI out of it just by getting this in your business, in their business. Okay, and these are the set of people who are willing to pay you because you're solving a unique problem for them and not just building a website. Okay, so this helps you do what? This helps you, number one, if we go a little more deeper, identify a more precise gap. Number two, this will help you create a unique solution. Number three, this will help you from stop selling to everyone. You would know which are the set of people who need this, and you will only sell to that. And most importantly, you would have positioned yourself differently, which gets people to come to you instead of you running to people. And from here is where you can craft offers. Okay? And this is what people want when they want to pay premium, because then they understand the value effectively. They know the power of what you're actually doing. You position yourself differently and you become a unique solution to people, and they are willing to pay you more. And all your communication during sales, by the way, sales is not just written, verbal communication. Sales is every single word that you use in any form of writing communication, any form of online presence, any form of offline presence, everywhere, everything that you do, communication in any shape or form creates sales. And you have to know this, how to communicate that effectively. Okay? Got it so far with me? Yes, I hope I explained this whole positioning thing clearly and effectively now. Yes, is this more clearer from where we started? Yes, everybody please go and give me some response in the chat box. Brilliant. Let's move on to the next step. This is where I had stopped the screen share because I wanted to give this clarity to you. Right. The next thing for you to do is stop selling a commodity, because people don't buy commodity. What do people do? People need a solution. Okay, now what happens with business owners is this. They are just trying to, either they don't have an offer at all, and if they have an offer, it's just a randomly done proposal and send, and then people tell me, I send proposal and no one reverts back. Because your proposal doesn't create any urgency, doesn't create a need for action, doesn't create a desire to buy from you. And that is not how proposals are created. There is a way and there is a purpose to it, and there is a method to doing it. I've had businesses which would keep sending proposals after proposals, not have people coming back. I've had people who would say, oh, from my ad campaign, people just send me a WhatsApp and say that, can you send me the pricing? Can you just send me the details? I send them the details, they don't come back. I've had people who say that when I do corporates, they just ask me to send the proposal, they never revert back to me. And every single time when we have worked on the offer and changed it, all of these responses from the clients have changed. Because sales is going to be your ability of how you're going to create an impact on your prospect, not your prospect's decision on how they're going to see it. You change the way you're putting yourself out there, their approach to you automatically changes. I had this participant who had spent like more than about 8 lakhs into his marketing campaigns, had absolutely not seen any results, was struggling with relevant leads as well, to today only spending 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh into his campaigns and making about 25 to 30 lakhs in return. Okay, and this quarter they're aiming for 1 crore. And I'm talking about per month, by the way. That is the whole power of what you can do. Okay, by the way, not 1.5 lakh spending in 1 crore, but I'm saying today, right now, their aim for the revenue is 1 crore in this quarter, and they have a strategy and system in place for that. Okay, and that is how your business can shift once you take charge of understanding and learning these skills for your business. It's like you doing a reverse cycling, and then you're saying that cycle आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा है. Cycle आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा है क्योंकि आप reverse cycling कर रहे हो. You can sit there for the rest of your life doing reverse cycling, and then you'll say cycle आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा है. But imagine someone just comes in and they just hold the cycle and they say, okay, all right, and they just move you forward. And you're like, what? I was sitting here for 2 years and suddenly this is moving in 2 minutes. It's that simple and that easy. It's just about understanding those easy skills and those strategies and applying it into your business and seeing quick results and things changing. And here's the whole deal, right? If you're a business owner, marketing and sales are two non-negotiable pillars of your business. You could have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to sell it, if you don't know how to market it, you don't know how to put it out there for people, you will never make money. And if you're a business owner, if you're not making money, what's the whole point? And I always tell this to business owners that you have chosen the more difficult path, right? You could have taken up a job, not because job is not good. I have team here and everybody needs someone to work in a job. But you could have just taken up a job for your paycheck to paycheck, work, not work, you would have got the results. But you choose another route where you have to work for it. You have to put your efforts. You have to create systems in place. You have to create processes in place. You have to have a outcome to the whole chain for you to actually make money at the end of the month. No one's giving you a paycheck just saying, hey, just out of nowhere, right? That's not happening. Now, if you've chosen that path, there has to be some reason behind which you decided to start your business, correct? And if you have that reason, then you might as well make money. Because if you're in a particular business selling a particular thing, there's a reason why you could be selling that particular thing. Why are you selling what you're selling? I want all of you to go to the chat box and tell me this. Why are you selling what you're selling? You could be saying something else, right? There's multiple ways to, make money. There are multiple ways to sell certain things, and you could be selling anything. Whatever business you are in today, why are you doing that business? Why are you not doing something else? Why are you not making money using something else? No, it's not about the no-brainer offer. We'll come to that. I'm just asked this right now. Just we're talking about this question. It combines what I'm good at and what people will pay for to make a difference and solve problems. Yeah, it's a need of the hour, money, right? But you could make money even by selling drugs or doing something illegal, right? But you chosen to make money using this method of selling. There has to be a reason to choosing this. You could have chosen something else. Okay, so my point is, if you've chosen to sell this, if you're passionate about what you're doing, you love what you're doing, and you enjoy what you're doing, and you think you have a skill set and you can actually help somebody create a solution through what you have, you might as well make a lot of money, right? And making money is purely a game of knowing the step-by-step process to make money and changing your mindset. It's as simple as that. And coming from someone who's actually been on the other side of it. I have been broke. I have been in debts of more than 10 lakhs, barely struggled to even get to like few thousands in a month, to coming to the other side and creating an 8-figure business. If I can do that, any of you can do that. One thing that I want to show you, probably a little off tangent from this, and I'll come back to the offer, because this is something that I want you to see what is possible for you. Because I see a lot of people who come to me and say that, you know what, Smita, I am not an extrovert. I can't really sell. I have not learned these things. I don't really know how to do this. This is not my ability. This is not my strength, not something that I can do, and all of that. But here's the thing. I didn't know this either. I don't come from a sales background either. I did not know any of these things. I did not have these skills either. And can you see this? Any guesses? Any guesses? Not my childhood picture, by the way. That's me with my daughter. Yes. Yeah, it's me. 15 years back. Every time I see this, I get emotional. This is who I was. Scared, frustrated, PhD in self-doubt, didn't believe in myself, angry. I think not angry on the world, but angry on myself because I knew I was capable of a lot more and the results in my life are not actually matching. Self-beating, upset, didn't believe I can do any of this. And here's me. Right? So if I can do this, I took 14 years to do this. You don't have to, because I had a longer route to take. You can do this in a shorter period. Literally in 6 months, you could be doubling your revenue. But this is a reality that stands in front of you. Because standing here, sitting here at this point of time, yeah, thank you so much. Sitting here in this point of time, you have two choices. Because every minute of our life, you're making a choice. Go back to the old way of doing things or find a new way, implement it, and see the results. Yeah, and I'm not showing you this to show what I did. I'm showing you to show what is possible for you, because a lot of time we can't see it. We're stuck in our own circle because we don't know anybody around us in our environment who's done it. And then we think that's a reality, that's a possibility. So just change that for yourself for once and see what's possible. Yeah, coming back to this is the next thing is showing creating your offer to enhance sales. What mistake that people do is this, right? They're selling a commodity just like real estate, interior designer, architect, AI, coaching, whatever, right? So whatever your industry is at, again. And now that's just a commodity. So now if it's just a commodity, it's like, let's say for example, I'm selling this bottle of water. Okay. So I'm saying, okay, there's this bottle of water and there's probably another bottle of water as well. They look same. Now, let's say if you say that, okay, I'm selling this bottle of water. Now you have a bottle holder. Then you have a plate that will keep this bottle of water warmer. Then you have an extra nice swanky glass that you can carry with you wherever you go. Then a pouch to hold this where you can, go for a run. And this bottle is super, super light that you can carry anywhere and it's non-breakable and it will always keep your water warm and, probably an easy refill as well. Now, a regular bottle of water is probably priced at like 100 rupees. And now you have this bottle of water, which is again priced at 100 rupees with all of these additional features coming in. Which one becomes a no-brainer choice to pick up? The regular bottle of water or a bottle of water with the holder, with the plate, with the extra refill, which is light, non-breakable, which will last for 5 years, which you can carry for a jog, so on. Which one is becomes an obvious choice to pay that 100 rupees and buy? Yeah, the tumbler, right? The Stanley tumbler, absolutely. Right? And people have gone crazy about that tumbler. What is it? It's just a water bottle. But what did they do? They created a unique solution out of it. And that's a different branding marketing story, not going into that. But that's the whole thing. And that's the role of an offer, because you stop selling just a problem or just a commodity and you create a solution. I'll share how you do that right now. So what's the job of an offer? Let's first understand that. An offer is a no-brainer deal that solves a pressing problem or fulfills a desire and creates minimum hesitation to buy. Okay, the job of the offer is to help people grab the attention. And every brand which has sold you something has done this with you, by the way. Reduces buying resistance. Normally, as human beings, the normal tendency or the normal psychology that people have is when you have to pay something, when you have to give something, when you have to give a commitment of time, whenever you have to do something, mentally you feel like you're giving something, right? So whenever you are selling something, the gain should always sound higher than the cost. And that is why you have to increase the value of what you're selling. You don't have to increase the, you don't have to, increase your cost to it, but you increase the value in a way that whenever they're paying you a lakh, it should sound like a 5 lakh or a 10 lakh worth product. And they should come back to you and say that, oh, that's just a lakh for this? That's super. And when they hear that entire solution that you're offering, the mind should feel like, wow, this is for 10 lakhs. That's the role of an offer. And if your offer is not compelling, it doesn't matter how good your product is, people won't act. And that is very, very crucial. Because people don't buy products, they buy outcome, they buy certainty, they buy speed, they buy something which is way beyond that the product. And right now what you are doing is you're selling logic. And people buy emotionally. And your offer must make their desired future feel reachable. That's what it should be. That is the job of the offer. If we rebuild your offer to speak directly to the deepest desires of your prospect and show them a clear ROI, don't you think that people can say yes faster to it? Yeah? If you have rebuilt your offer in a way that it speaks directly to the deepest desires of your customer and show them a clear ROI, don't you think that they will be saying yes to it faster because it reduces their buying capacity? Yes, go and give me a yes in the chat box. Yeah. And that's the most crucial thing, because we have seen businesses which are complete startups. We have got them to price something premium. They're like, Smita, we're startups. Why would someone pay us this premium? Why would someone come pay us this price? Because we're just starting off. And just by building a good offer and having a good offer in place, creating an entire offer stack, bonuses, map, the pricing, increasing the value ladder, and all of it, they've got people coming back to them and saying, your offer is something that brought me back. And people have paid them that premium. That's the power of the offer. That's the role of an offer. Okay. So this is how normally people craft their offers. I'm just going to open this. And I've just put an example of an offer, which is a very bad offer, just to show you how normally people craft offers, how to not craft an offer. This is what people normally do when it comes to sending a proposal, right? Okay, about us, this is what we do: computer-aided technology, aided manufacturing, aided engineering, graphic technology, open source technology. We are proud citizen of whatever. This is the vision, this is our mission, core values, what we do. For manufacturers, this is what we do. For technology providers, again, this is what we do: roles, domain, technology integration, strengths and skills, web technology, clients. Look at this whole offer. Does this give you any clarity? Does this give you any insight? Does this give you any value? Does this give you any desire? Anybody looking at this offer and feeling, oh my God, I want to go and buy this? Anybody having anything like that looking at it? No, right? So that is exactly how a lot of people do their offer, and that's exactly how we're not supposed to do an offer. Because offers are not about what you do. Offer is about what value you bring in. And people think that if you charge high, people won't buy, which is not true. What you should rather do is you should position your high ticket as an exclusive premium solution that delivers massive value. And I'll show you how offers are created. The role of an offer is when someone buys something from you. Okay, now let's say, for example, if I have to again take this drinking water, right? If someone's going to buy this bottle of water from you, what are the next obvious things that they're going to need? Assume, right? Probably a glass to drink, right? A water refill, because if they're carrying this bottle, then they need a water refill. Then, again, something to keep the water warmer if they need it warm, or probably a temperature control that you can choose. You want to keep your water warm or you want to keep your water hot, or probably a partition or a section to have a warm water and a cold water as an option, right? So basically, what am I trying to say here? Because whenever someone buys a solution from you or a product from you or a service from you, they have the next most obvious requirement with that, right? I'll give you an example of a real estate right now, and I'll show you how those offers can be done. And that will help you get insights on how offers are built. Because if you're selling a commodity, you cannot make it premium. But the minute you start making it as a premium solution, which delivers immense value, you can charge premium. Okay, this is an offer that we have built for someone in real estate in our community, and I'm actually putting that up for you and showing you how that is done. Okay, just give me a sec. So you understand how offers are built, and you can go back in your business and look at how do you actually craft that offer for yourself. Are you guys with me? Getting some different perspective on sales, getting some different insights on sales. Yes, a lot of you writing GA. Yes, yeah. Have you got your GA moments so far since morning? Because as you know, the mistake that people do and the people think is just about sales is about, oh, what I say during a sales call. No, sales is about all of these things which helps someone make a buying decision. And towards the end, the final step is your selling script and objection handling. Yeah, yes, I'm giving you an example of what should an offer actually do, and then I can give you examples of good offer too, if we have time, because we have a lot of other things to cover. But yeah, let me see if I can. I will definitely show you what a good offer should do. But what should an offer do? I'm giving you an example of a real estate agent who's selling to investors. Now, first of all, there is clarity on who is this person selling to. Okay, this is what we did with one of our real estate clients, and we moved who they are selling to. Now, this person was earlier just selling homes. What we did, we moved them from just selling homes to create a solution. We said, what all does your client need? They said, our clients are normally people who are NRIs and they're not in the city, so they need a lot more support than just actually wanting to buy a house. Said, all right, let's list that down. They said, okay, they need a good exclusive off-market investment deals. These are investors, so they need a high ROI property before they hit the market because they love it. So, all right. Customized ROI blueprint, a detailed profit projection for each property, covering appreciation trends, rental yield, cash flow potential. Negotiation, where they can crack the best deal. So they don't want to actually be involved in all of that. They want someone who can do that for them and give it to them. Investor friendly financing assistance. So they want financing options, which is not your regular banking options, but which is more investor friendly options, and where they want to, invest into properties for investment. And so they need finance options, which works for them. They don't just finish with buying the house. Now they're investors. They need the next thing, that is finding the tenants. Right now they're sitting in a different country. How are they going to find that? So receive pre-screened tenant leads with higher yields of return. Property management support, so wherein the wear and tear is taken care of, the taxation and all of the whatever taxation they have to pay off, that is taken care of. And then when they want to get out of this whole property, also a good resale value. All right, we said, okay, what all could you include in? Okay, and we picked up few of these aspects, created a phenomenal offer. Now, instead of just getting a commission from selling a home, this person is getting a further percentage of profits, which the investor is getting from the entire tenants and so on. This guy is making more money out of that as well. So now he's become premium, he's become highlighted, he's exclusive, charging more than what a regular real estate guy is, but at the same time creating a solution instead of just selling a house. And that is what an offer is supposed to do. Correct? So when you start positioning yourself as a solution, this is the difference. The real estate person is selling a house. Here, suddenly you become a solution seeker for any investor who's not in the country. They want to say, okay, you're going to take care of everything for me. And that is the role of an offer. Correct? Makes sense? Yes? Yes, go and give me a yes in the chat box. All right, perfect. Cool. Guys, there are a lot of messages that is coming in. So if I'm missing out on some messages, because I've not seen your earlier message. So I don't know. So stay back. Probably towards the end, you could ask me those questions. I just see your last message, Dr. Deepak. I have not seen any message of yours before this. Yeah. And please don't assume things. It's a lot of messages, so I try to comprehend and read. Cold calls tomorrow when we are going to talk about selling, sales script, selling strategies. Yes, I'll talk a little about the cold calls part of it as well. Yeah. All right, brilliant. Got some new insights, got some perspective about what we are talking in terms of selling. Yes. All right. Because people don't pay you for results. People don't pay you for a commodity. People pay you for results. And this is a mistake that people do. They keep selling features. Whenever it comes to selling something, whenever it comes to what do you do, people keep, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. They go into the technicalities of it. Imagine going to, buying a washing machine, and your washing machine guy saying, the machine that we have, it has this much power hertz of the engine, and when you put in the clothes, this force and this micro hertz or whatever your turbocharge, this power comes in, and our machine moves in this direction with this force of the engine, and that is how we clean the clothes. Now, if the washing machine guy is going to talk to you like that, you're going to think, oh my God, this sounds very complicated. Such powerful engines, such powerful machines, they're going to tear my clothes off. I don't want it. But what is the washing machine guy telling you? Whatever tough stain you put it, the rotational moment that we have is created in such a way to clear the toughest stain. Probably your clothes are getting thinner with that, and which they do. But they're not talking about the complicated feature of your washing machine. They are talking about the results that your washing machine creates. Okay, so instead of selling a feature, focus on selling results. Because how people perceive your product, your messaging, and your positioning gets them to take a decision on how they see you. And a sales call which doesn't have a clarity on positioning leads to confusion, and that leads to no sale. Clarity creates cash, confusion creates crickets. Okay, so it's about redefining how your audience perceives your product or service to align better with their needs or desires. So it's about what are you helping them achieve? What's the value that you're helping them achieve? Okay, and when you communicate your value effectively, your conversion skyrockets. Imagine how, again, let's take some of these examples, right? How do people perceive your product and your messaging and positioning? In fact, when you go to buy Ferrari, now, for a lot of you who kept talking about yesterday, it's always the pricing that matters. If it is the pricing that matters, you'll just buy a Maruti 800. You don't need a Ferrari, right? Now, the Ferrari guy, when he's selling you a Ferrari, is he selling you again, oh, this is the engine that we use, this is the power with it, this engine works, this is the complicated machine that's gone into it, opens the entire, spare parts and starts showing you? Or he talks to you about when you sit in the Ferrari, what's the power with which the car goes, how you go straight from 0 to 120 and you don't even realize it, how that comfort makes you feel, how there are those features that actually creates that luxury for you, how with that wind that hits your face, how that makes you feel, how that makes you feel like a macho when you're going to drive through some great women, how your family is going to look at you, how your friends are going to look at you, how that's going to create that status symbol for you. So Ferrari is not actually selling a car. It's selling a speed. It's selling a status. Seeing the whole difference of how you communicate your value. Domex, right? Something that's our day-to-day life kitchen toiletry product. I'll just show you something. And look at what do you do when you're doing your sales. Okay. Dr. Deepak, so now I'm going to read that. Here, does no-brainer apply to the premium product as well? Because till now I've seen in a funnel, people choose no-brainer as a minimalistic cost. No, not at all. As you choose your no-brainer of 235 rupees only, but your main product would be different. Please answer. This is very crucial to me. Okay, I have not got your question clearly, but I'm going to answer this for you for now. And later on, if that's not answered still, probably towards the end, I'll take it up because otherwise we're going to go off topic. Doesn't matter what your offer is. First of all, if you're doing premium, you need to have an offer. So a no-brainer offer is always for whichever level you're doing it. Okay, and for premium, you 100% need an offer. A good offer increases the conversion chances or increases your sales conversion by as high as 40 to 50%. Literally. Okay, and that's the power of what a good offer does. I've had people who have had really good selling skills in terms of communication, people who are very good with talking, great with creating the connection, didn't have a great offer, and they would have people go back to them and say that, okay, we'll come back to you. Okay, so it doesn't matter. And the more premium it is, the more powerful your offer should be. Because the offer's purpose is not just about creating an irresistible offer, it's about the value that you bring in. And the more premium you do, the more unique value you need to bring in. All right, I hope that answers your question. So coming back, okay, I have to show you guys this ad. Just hold on. And I'm trying to make this as simple as possible so that when you look at it, you can start understanding what are you actually doing in terms of your business. When people ask you what you do, how do you help them? How do you communicate with them? Yeah, doesn't matter what your paying capacity is. Everybody loves free extra discounts. Everybody wants to save money. In fact, the more money you want, make the more money you want to save, and that's natural and that's how it should be. Okay, and that's why and even especially if you want to charge high ticket and you want to go to a premium segment of people who value, you definitely need to bring in a lot of wow factor into your offer for them to look at it and go like, this is exactly what I want. Yeah, right. So just watch this for a minute.
मैं हूँ दाग, दिखता हूँ छोटा सा, पर छिपाता हूँ करोड़ों कीटाणु जो फैलाते हैं जॉन्डिस, टाइफॉइड, डायरिया। साधारण क्लीनर मुझे निकाल नहीं सकते।
इसीलिए लाई हूँ नया डोमिक जीरो स्टेन।
इसका 7 गुना गाढ़ा फॉर्मूला निकाले जिद्दी दाग। ना रहेंगे दाग, ना रहेंगे कीटाणु।
डोमिक जीरो स्टेन, जीरो दाग, जीरो कीटाणु।
Now, this is your regular Domex ad. Why am I showing you this ad? So that I could explain something to you in a more simpler way. Okay, now what does Domex do? If I look at Domex, I have the Domex bottle right here. So if I look at the ingredients of Domex, the ingredients of Domex say something like hydrochloric acid, amine ethoxylate, citramonium chloride. Now let's imagine you going to buy a Domex and the Domex salesman saying the hydrochloric acid in our product actually is very powerful when you pour it in your bathroom. Yeah, the amine ethoxylate is such a powerful chemical that it has the power to remove the toughest stain because it has this power. The citramonium chloride can actually fight the germs, any toughest germs, and because it's a very powerful chemical that has this potency, and this is the potency of this particular chemical that we use in it. Okay, if this is how they start selling it, you'll hear the entire complicated chemical name and you'll say, okay, if it's so powerful, so on the tile on this, what is it going to do for my skin? What is that going to do for my environment and so on? And you would say, I rather don't want it, right? But what is Domex selling? Stains, Kitanu se mukti and so on. Nowhere are they talking about the harmful chemicals because these chemicals are very harmful, right? That they're using. So what am I trying to tell you? When you go on a sales call, what are you selling? The features? Because you keep saying, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. And it's a lot of information that people get and then they don't come back. So stop selling features, sell the outcome. Because that's what people pay for. Okay? And this is the fourth reason because of which people don't pay you high ticket. Cool? This is a simple example I've taken of Mamaearth, which again, a very day-to-day life cosmetic brand, to show you all of that I just covered. Okay, first they identified a gap. They said there were basic, all the products that was there before Mamaearth in terms of skincare for babies, they were filled with either, toxic things, chemical things and so on. So they said, okay, they want a toxin-free product for baby and themselves and they do not want chemical heavy or they were too traditional, not safe on the skin and so on. So they filled that gap. They identified who their right audience was, just offered it to millennial mothers who were health conscious, eco-aware families. So Mamaearth is not looking to sell it at everybody. They got certified as toxin free, plastic positive, made safe certified. They emotionally branded themselves in such a way to parents who care, right? That's how their entire positioning and branding became. And the outcome was this. In fact, Mamaearth is one of the first initial companies to, go on IPO. They went from 25 crore revenue in 2019 to about 1,000 crores in 2023. They became India's first unicorn in the D2C beauty and personal care space, right? Now that is the power of doing all of this put together, all that I spoke about in simple 4 sentences that I can cover. And this is what you need to identify in terms of your business. Okay, imagine if you identify how do you stand differently, how do you communicate differently, what offer you're supposed to craft, how do you create that irresistible offer, and then go out there and do your sales calls, how much more effective your sales calls will be, and how much more results can you generate with your sales calls. And if your client could themselves see the result before you even set the price, how much more easier would your sales be? Would that create a difference in your results? Yeah. Make sense? Yes. All right. Brilliant. So these are your 5 most important aspects when it comes to selling high ticket. Now let's move on to the next step, and that is understanding how to create your desired revenue. Okay, but before that, just quickly want you to hear this, and then we come to your desired revenue. A lot of you spoke about your desired revenue and that you're stuck in that situation for few years now. I will show you how that can be way more easier than what you actually think. Okay, just hear this out first. This is the power of what all of that I spoke to you does. And from there,
We
then
made
we
a
move on.
conversion. We converted a client from Instagram, and this was like our very first conversion, which was non-referral. And I think it was majorly because we followed the script, and we did that. And then one day he just messaged and he was like, "I want to come to your office," and he just came, and he like had literally made up his mind. He just got the check and he booked with us. It's a 15 lakh project, but we are expecting it to like go up to 20. Thanks
Great
to
job.
you and thanks to the team. We are so happy to actually, have a conversion which is not referral. So it is a very good achievement.
This is the power of what this does. Okay. And this, when we work on a long term journey, I don't even get people to start on the sales module till we actually identify what their positioning is, who's their market, what's the gap they're filling, and then we come to crafting their offer, craft their offers, put the entire offer in place, and in the process is when they actually get access to go to the sales modules. Because until as your foundation is not right, just doing sales is not going to help. Okay. So, and that's exactly what I'm covering with you, so that you stop going through that loop over and over and over again.
We made
Now,
a
here's the
conversion. We converted a
question. Okay,
client.
this voice is not going. Yeah. Here's the next question for all of you. What is that big goal that you want to achieve in terms of revenue? Okay. Whatever your big goal is, you've written that already. What is your desired revenue when you started? So you don't have to go back and write that. But here is what I want you to write. I want you to go and write down what are those two things that's stopping you from achieving it. One is your internal reason. The internal reasons could be whatever, right? Procrastination, fear, not clear, whatever your internal reasons are, not sure if people will pay me premium, whatever your internal reason is, because we constantly talk about external reasons of, oh, my clients don't pay me, they are not willing to, pay high ticket, I can't do sales and so on. Those are your external reasons. I want to know what your internal reason is that's stopping you from actually achieving that goal in terms of revenue. Okay, so go and write down one internal reason and one external reason, because it's time for us to even become honest and look at what's really coming in the way and what is stopping. So write down your reason, not just both or internal. I'm saying write what it is: self-doubt, imposter syndrome, fear of failure, confusion, too much information around, don't know where to start. Yeah, that I think is a great problem to have, because a lot of people have that, so much information that you don't know a step-by-step process to do it, so no clarity. Fear of talking to foreign clients and will I be able to handle their queries effectively. Remember, it doesn't matter which country. I've worked with people from 13, 14 different countries, and every single person on the other side, doesn't matter which country, is a human being. The challenges they have the same, the problem that they have is the same, and all that everybody is looking for is an effective solution. Okay. Too much information, fear of failure, procrastination, convincing power, dealing with negotiations. External is customer always lose us on the price, and internal, I don't know. If customer lose you on the price, so what could be your internal reasons? What is the reason that you wouldn't have relooked at it or changed something about it or worked towards achieving a result, right? Like, if let's say last year my health went for a toss, there was a lot of hormonal imbalances that I went through, and things just looked extremely bad in terms of my health, right? So I tried going through multiple nutritionists, tried doing a lot of things, didn't work out, and finally took charge and got the right results, and things are now moving in a positive side, right? So if something's not going right and if something's a problem, you'll keep going through to find the solution, right? You'll take action towards it. You will keep going through whatever number of things that you need to keep going through to get to the other side. So what is that internal reason that stopped you from taking that action? Internal is fear of failure. External, don't get the right audience with high intention with affordability. Okay. External reason is that market is saturated. Internal, that's not true. That's definitely not true. We'll show you how to get out of that market saturation. Internal reason is I feel no one needs it. That's a challenge. That's a problem. Then why would you sell it? You would sell something else. You need a definite revisit and a reapproach to how you look at your business. External is time management. External cash flow, not enough leads. Internal, not enough confidence in myself to start making those marketing videos and shoot educative content and put myself out there. Internal, my communication is not as good. You don't need to be a master in communication. Internal fear, my own speed. It's too much work to do. It's complex. I don't know the way and how to implement. External, government approvals. Internal, what's the internal? Don't just write internal. Tell me what it is. Right. So here's what we're going to do now. Okay, the reason I asked you to acknowledge this is because I'm going to now show you how you can actually create money and how it's easy and it's doable. And why are you stuck? Why is it that you're not able to go on the other side? What are the actual challenges? What is coming in your way? Okay, so I want all of you to wear your seatbelts on because there's a lot of reality check that's going to come your way. And I'm going to give you some insights into certain aspects and certain perspectives of your business, so which you will need a little seatbelt on. Okay, so wear your seatbelt on because that's going to help you. And watch with me of what's really going on. Okay, how many of you feel making money is hard, money is difficult, it's not easy to make money, you need to work really hard to make money, not everybody can make money, you need to be lucky to make money, somebody is born with a golden spoon so they have money. How many of you have all of these conversations about money going on? Wow, a lot of you. And that exactly is your internal reason as well. Because now, remember yesterday we spoke about the resistance, and this is what happens, right? When the resistance comes up, because these are the conversations that you're having, then you have the fear. Then there are 98% people who go towards the drifter side. They drift away. They have a dream, they have a desire, they want to do something, but they have these kind of conversations. I'm not capable, I'm not good enough with communication, I'm not an extrovert, I can't speak to new people. How will people see me? I'll be seen as greedy. I can't really go and make that sales conversation. I can't ask for money. Making money is hard. Money is difficult. You need to work really hard. You need to be lucky. I don't have the degree to make that kind of a money. And all of these conversation comes in your head and they crowd your head. And you go from wanting to go to your desires to be drifters. And what you do, you're doing Netflix and chill instead of actually taking the actions in the right direction. And there's only 2% people who go on that direction, who keep taking step after step after step after step after step after step after step and keep taking action after action after action and go to the next step. Okay, so today you have to make a choice. Do you want to be what 98% people are doing? That's being a drifter. Have a dream, have a desire, but let these sounds crowd your head and then go and watch Netflix and chill. Or you want to be the driven, who will take action, who will move forward, implement the changes, do the strategies, do the needful, whatever is needed, and move forward to create results. How many of you feel that, okay, I'll come to that question a little later. Let me come to that little later. I feel I just need a quick start. For that, I need to know more about sales and how to go with it. Yes, so this is going to tell you a lot more about sales. I tell myself all of these are lies and we can make money with positive affirmations, yet that little voice inside kills that mindset slowly. I'm little sorry, but affirmations are going to come in your way, okay? Because if you're constantly going to say, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, and your bank account says you're broke, and then you're going to look at your bank account, your mind is going to say, that's not the reality, we are broke. Right? And that's how affirmations don't work. What you need is action statements that will put you into action mode. Okay, so I call it as the power action statements. And we'll come to that. I'm not covering affirmations or anything right now. That's not a part of what I'm doing right now in the boot camp. But when we work on the long term in terms of rewiring people's mindset, we don't do affirmations, but we rewire them in such a way that they have power statements that puts you into action. That's the whole job. Okay, but there are much more work in terms of mindset that we do where we completely do an internal rewiring, and that's what gets people ready to do things differently. Anyways, the choice right now for you to make is this. You want to become a drifter or you want to become driven? Okay, because drifter falls prey for those voices and driven is someone who will take action in spite of those voices. That's a choice I wanted to make. Okay, because this is a reminder you have to give yourself every single day, every single minute, whenever an essential thing is coming. When you're supposed to go and make that call to that prospect and your mind is giving you an excuse, remind yourself, I'm driven. Go and make that call. When you're supposed to buy that software, you're saying, Arey, abhi nahi, baad mein karenge. When you're supposed to get that right employee, go and say that all the time. Remind yourself. Okay, cool. Because now what I'm going to show you is how do you get to your game plan for making the money that you desire. And now when I'm going to do this, a lot of your drifter conversation is going to come up as well. But I'm not just going to do this by saying magically this will happen. I'm going to show you a mathematical calculation of how to do it. And then I'll show you why this is not working for you. Where are you stuck? Because this today is going to be an eye opener for you in terms of your business. All right. So for that, we have to do one activity, and I want each one of you to participate in this activity. Go to the chat box and tell me two things. Okay, I'll tell you what I want you to tell. So just give me a second. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a mathematical formula and show you how to get to your desired revenue in the next. So basically doubling your revenue in the next 6 months is what we're looking at. Okay, so how do you get to your desired revenue is a mathematical calculation that we're doing in the next 6 months. But for that, I need two things, and I need you to do this activity with utmost honesty, because the only way this will work is by you doing this with utmost honesty, because I'm going to show you a complete sales system blueprint right now. Okay, and this is something that a lot of business owners lack, because of it sales gets affected. So I wanted to do two things. I'll tell you what. You'll go to the chat box and write down what is your current revenue. Don't write now, just listen to the whole thing. What is your current revenue per month and what is your desired revenue per month? But you'll write it in this format. Okay, current revenue, whatever per month is, desired revenue, whatever your per month is. Okay, now why do I want this? I'm going to look at your this entire group's average desired revenue. And by the way, this is in 6 months. Okay, so we are by the end of 6 months, what is the desired revenue you want to create every month? And what is your current revenue right now? So I want you to do this with utmost honesty. And what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to look at the entire group, look at the desired revenue of the entire group, take up an average number. Okay, so do this with honesty, because each group's numbers are different. So I pick up a group number which works for the group. Okay. Why do I need the current revenue? Because a lot of time people write desired revenue, which is unrealistic. The aim is to write realistic desired revenue per month 6 months from now. We're not doing a 5-year game plan or any of that. 6 months from now, what is your desired revenue per month? Okay. And that's why I need to know the current revenue, just to see if that's a realistic number. Not that if you are in 20,000 a month, you can't do 2 crores, but that's a mindset that comes in the way, and this growth happens strategically, step by step. Right. So, yeah. 2,000 per month. Okay. All right. 1 lakh, 2.5 lakh, 50,000, 10 lakh, 1.5 CR, 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 30,000, 3 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 3 CR, 50 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 90K. That's $90K. Okay. So 4 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 35 lakhs, 50K, 15 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 2.5, 6 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 2 CR, 15, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Right? Based on the group number, there's some people who are under 10 lakh and some people who are over 30 lakhs. Okay. So I'm going to take an average number out and I'm going to do the mathematical calculation using this number. You can do your calculation using your number. So keep your pen and paper ready, because we're going to do this together. You will do this for your number. I'll do this for an average general number, which will work for everyone. Okay. All right. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 20 lakhs as the monthly revenue per month. Okay, well, let's take 30 lakhs per month. Cool. 30 lakhs per month as a monthly revenue. I'll show you how you can get to that. And we'll do this calculation. Cool. You can take your own number. If your number is lesser than 30 lakhs, take lesser than 30 lakhs. If your number is more than 30 lakhs, take more than 30 lakhs. Take your number, and there's no comparison between anybody. This is your number, your journey. So don't compare with anybody else. Don't think, oh my God, people are talking so much. I can't even think of that big number. That's not the aim. Okay, so this is not about, okay, I'll need to put my whiteboard on. So this is not about anybody else's number. This is about your number, and this is your journey. Yeah. Can you guys see my whiteboard? Right. Do this calculation with me for your business, okay? So let's assume we want to get to 30 lakhs per month, okay? Put whatever number you want to write. So the first thing for us to understand is what could be the ticket size. So let's assume that we are selling a ticket size of, we're talking high ticket, so I'm going to take at least 1 lakh. So let's assume we're selling a ticket size of 1 lakh, whatever, that's your 1 lakh ticket size, okay? So how many sales do you need for you to get to 30 lakhs a month? So if you have to do 30 lakhs a month and your ticket size, that's what you're selling, the price of that, I've taken an average price. Again, you can take an average price if you have multiple products, take your average number. Okay, so take any number that's your ticket size. Do the max. Basically, if you need 30 lakhs a month, 1 lakh is the ticket size, you'll need 30 sales per month. Correct? Now is the next question. For you to get to 30 sales per month, how many sales calls do you need to do? Which means how many sales calls should you have per month? Now, assuming that for you to get to 30 sales per month, assuming that your conversion ratio in sales, now here's the whole thing. When you're doing one-to-one selling, you can do a conversion ratio as high as 70%, depending on the industry. Worst case scenario, 50%. If you're doing a referral-based business, you should touch 90% because referrals already come with a sense of trust, right? So if you're doing referral-based business, you should do 90%. Now, if you're doing anything lesser than 30% sales in your business, then you definitely need a huge upgrade of learning the sales skills. All right. Now, I'm going to be conservative here and just take a conservative number, because if I take overly optimistic number, you'll say, oh, that's too easy. That's easier said than done. Doesn't happen or any of that. So let me take 30% as a conversion number. Okay. So we'll do 30% as your conversion. Is that cool? Yeah, the lowest possible. Anything lower than this, you need an upgrade. You definitely need to work on your sales skills. So how many sales calls you need per month if 30% is your conversion ratio? Okay, so if you have 30% is your, and somebody who is good in maths can help me with this, please. So makes it faster for me. So if you need 30 sales and if 30% is your conversion ratio, then how many sales calls do we need? If we do 100, 10, 20, 30. So 100, right? Correct? So we need 100 sales calls per month. Is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, 100 calls. Getting confused with the conversion ratio. So 30 sales calls. Now here's the whole thing. When you have to do a sales call, when you have, you have to get the number of the sales. Not every sales call you're going to go in converts. Okay. If anybody is telling you I have a 100% sales conversion, run. They're lying. Okay. They're definitely not telling you the truth. The highest you can do, or the highest you possibly can hit, is 70%, depending on industry to industry. Referrals 90%, but anything lower than 30% needs an upgrade. Okay, and this I'm talking about one-to-one selling. One-to-many selling is different ball game altogether. We're not doing that numbers right now. Okay, so this is your conversion ratio, which means if you do 100 sales calls a month, if you get on a sales call with 100 people, 30 of them will buy if your conversion ratio is 30%. If your number is different, you put a different number here. You will get to know how many sales calls you need to do. Okay, cool. For the ones who are confused, clear? Now, for 100 sales calls to happen, here's the whole thing. There is a difference between lead generated versus sales calls versus sales. Okay. All the leads that you generate will not land into a sales call. So the next question to ask is, how many leads do I need to generate to get to 100 sales calls a month? Okay, now if you're thinking 100 sales call is a lot, let me by the way show you what 100 sales calls look like. Assuming you work 6 days in a week, and that is about 24 days in a month, 100 sales calls is about 4.1, so I can't write 4.1, so it's 4 to 5 sales calls per day. Okay, 6 days a week. Now, if you're in business and if you're not even doing this much sales calls in a day, and if this is not the number you're hitting in your sales calls, then I don't know what you're doing. Okay, there's the least you should do. So that's it, 4 to 5 sales calls a day, and your conversion would mean about 1 to 2 sales. That too not every day. If you work 5 days a week, you could do 1.5. So I can't break a person into half. So it's 1 to 2 sales per day. Okay. So how many leads do I need to generate if I have to get to 100 sales calls a day? Now 100 sales calls a day, and let's assume only 10% of the total leads that you generate come on a sales call with you. You probably have a very bad show-up ratio. So again, being very conservative, the numbers are not so low. The show-up ratio is better if your lead quality is better. Okay. So that would mean you need 100,000 leads to be generated per month for you to get to 100 sales calls a month. Now someone's saying, oh my God, 1,000 leads is a lot. I'll show you what 1,000 leads means. 1,000 leads, assuming that we are going to run an ad campaign to generate these leads. Let's see how your cost per lead is going to look like. Depending from industry to industry, you get a cost per lead as low as 60 rupees as well. And you also get a cost per lead as high as 1,200 or 1,400 rupees per lead as well. I'm going to take an in-between number, and let's assume that you get a 600 rupees cost per lead. Okay, now this is like a decent pricing for a lead, by the way. If you're getting a 600 rupees cost per lead, your show-up ratio will definitely be more than 10%. But I'm still, again, taking the cost per lead on a higher side, which means you need to spend 6 lakhs per month to make 30 lakhs per month in return on a higher side. And the minute you'll change your numbers here, the numbers would change. Okay, and if you spend just 300 rupees cost per lead, you'll end up just spending, if I do this as 300 or 400 rupees as your cost per lead, you will end up spending 4 lakhs a month to get to 30 lakhs a month. And this is how easy and simple it can look like to get to this number. Now the question is, if it is this easy, what stops you from getting onto that number? But the first thing to even look at it is, does this at the least look easy? Go and tell a doable in the chat box. Let's say if I show you a method and a step-by-step process of how to make all of this possible, and here you don't even have to spend 4 lakhs. Okay, there's multiple methods of lead generation, which we'll come to a little later. There's organic, and there is the one where you spend money. So you can choose which one you want to do based on your income. But if I show you a step-by-step method of how to get to this, can you see that this can become your reality? Yes. Yes. Would love to know how. I will tell you that. Okay. But the first thing is to at least see that, yeah, obviously. So all your conversations are going to come in your mind, not practical. Explain why not practical to me. Explain why this is not possible. I will show you why this is not possible, and I'll tell you why this is not practical for you. Or I'll tell you why you're stuck, or why you're not able to make that kind of a money. Okay, and in a second, I'll show you how that is practical and how that is doable. Tell me which part of that step looks not practical to you. Lead gen is not a problem. Please address me later to help me find where I'm going wrong. I will look into it. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I'll come to it. I'm going to come to your entire topic. The entire lead gen part. I think it's possible, but would really like to know how. I'll come to that. My first step and my first question is this, at the least, right now, I know you don't know how to get there, you would like to know how to get there and so on, but at the first step, does this at least look easy, doable? Oh my God, really? Is this all it takes? Does that at least come to the mind? Can you at least see that there's a step-by-step method to do it? Yeah, that's all I wanted to start with. I don't want you to know how, because you wouldn't know how. If you would have known how, you wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be, wondering how to do it. You would have got to it, correct? Right? So I will tell you how and I'll tell you where you're stuck. The first and the foremost reason you're stuck, or rather, in fact, let me first get you to hear someone who's made it happen, and a lot of people who have made it happen, who start with the same conversation as you, saying that not possible, can't even cross 1 lakh, difficult, people don't pay, to what is possible. And then I'll show you how this is possible. Okay? I'll show you how this is possible. Don't worry on that. I'll show you. Have patience. We'll cover. The rest of the time, I'm going to cover all of this and I'm going to show you how this is possible. Just hear them out first and then we'll come to how this is possible.
How many more sign-ups happened after that?
I think sign-ups के हिसाब से ये वाला month हमारा historical जा रहा है. You know, we have been, I think, numbers और amount के हिसाब से I think Nritya Arts की history में इससे बढ़िया महीना नहीं गया. You know, I think we have already crossed 21 plus probably. मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है 20 plus. 16 and
20 plus.
20 lakhs plus कर दिया इस महीने. So, और I think so today is 30th. अगले 2 दिन में और भी कुछ होने का chance है.
Because weekend is coming though. Expecting.
These guys, that month I think they touched about another 2 sales, which was 4.5. That was 9 lakhs. So that month they did about 25-30 lakhs. And these guys today are aiming at doing 1 CR. Okay. Now, how did that happen and why is that not happening? The first and the foremost reason that it's not happening or it's not working for you is not because it's difficult, it's not because it's lazy, you're lazy, it's not because, it's not real, it's not because you're not working hard, it's not because you need a better product or any of that. It is because you don't have clarity on how to go about with getting to that number. How many of you have a day-wise, step-by-step game plan about your business which tells you every single day what you're supposed to do in your business to get to that number? No guesswork, no figuring out, no thinking about it. A lot of you spend your day waking up in the morning thinking, aaj kya karna hai, kaise karna hai, half of the day goes thinking kya karna hai, half of the day goes loitering, then some client operations handle kar liya, some client servicing handle kar liya, team se idhar udhar baat kar liya, and the day goes by. And then you've been busy the whole month, but the end of the month, when you reach the end of the month, the bank account and the busy doesn't match. And when I say a day-by-day, step-by-step plan, I mean this. I don't mean goal setting. Goal settings don't work. Because there is a mental wiring in your head. Until that mental wiring is not changed, goal setting never works. Okay, because your hypnotic rhythm doesn't let you break that. We'll come to that. But having a day-by-day plan, where every day this is the sheet of those people who got this, right? The video you heard, this is how they achieved it, right? Every single day, knowing what you're supposed to do day by day in their business. They created it in August. They touched their number in somewhere August, September, October. So November, I think they did this number, or around October, right? Every day they had a game plan of what they're supposed to do in the business day by day. Okay, and this is done through a 3-step process. It's not something that just happens 1 step. Okay, but how many of you have a clear plan? Look at this. In August, they had already created their entire plan of identify cash flow needs. All of those things was in place. And look at this, 5 lead calls every day. And I could literally look at their March and identify See, in Jan, what all they were planning, all of that was written way in advance. All of this was planned, and there was a step-by-step process to get to it. I could even sit here and see which day they are going to go to their CA, which day they are going to have a review meet with the marketing team, with the operations guy, which day they are going to sit and identify their cash flow needs. And one common thing is a sales call every single day in their business. And the reason you're not getting to the number that you want to get to is a lack of a game plan like this, which is a step-by-step clarity of every day what you're supposed to do, not by just being busy. In fact, doing lesser work and getting more done. Having more time, more quality time for your family, getting more things done for your family. And unless you don't have this in place, getting to that is going to be challenging. Because making money is easy. You're missing out on either of these two things. Okay, and I'll tell you what those two things are. And now is the time to look at where is it that you're going wrong. Okay, do an evaluation and understanding of where are you actually getting stuck. Because the most important thing you need is a reverse engineering of your monthly revenue, number of clients, pricing, action step, and pure maths. And all you need is this game plan. And to show you how to implement it week by week, don't you have a game plan like this where you know how to implement it week by week, you will be able to get your revenue goal easier. How many of you feel that if you have a game plan like this and if you have someone to show you how to implement this week by week, you'll be able to get your game plan easier or your revenue plan easier? Yes? Yeah? Possible? Yes. Right. So I'll show you where you're stuck, because now is the time to look at that insights. Okay, and understand where are you stuck. Because if you've been stuck for the last 6 months, why would the next 6 months be different without taking a different step? You don't need more time. You need a better direction, better habit, and better support. That's all that you need. If you have that in place in your business, you're going to make money. Simple. You know, a lot of times people say, I think I'm lazy. You're not lazy. You're just confused and you lack clarity. Yeah? So let's understand where is the gap coming in. There are only 2 reasons for not making money. Okay? Yeah, we'll come to that. Let's come to the external factors and the internal both. There are only 2 reasons that you're not making money. 1, either there's a challenge with your sales system. 2, or there's a problem with your work habits. Okay? Now, when it comes to sales system, either there's a problem with the lead generation, or there is a problem with the lead conversion. Okay? It's very simple. Either you don't have a consistent lead flow, or you don't know how to convert the leads you get. Alright? Now, when it comes back to the lead flow, is my screen gone? Comes back to the lead flow, let's understand. I know for the ones who have the consistent lead flow, I'll tell you where you're going wrong. Now, when it comes to the lead flow, either of these 2 things are happening. Either you're generating irrelevant leads. Now, there is lead flow, but these leads are not actually looking for what you're offering for. Okay, now that is a marketing challenge, which means you're not clear. We spoke about these things earlier. You're not clear about your positioning. You're not clear on who's your audience. You're not clear on the targeting. You're not clear on how your offer is crafted. Your ad copies are not crafted clearly because of that. Okay, now a lot of time people think a marketing agency can solve this for you. Honestly, they can't, because this is something that you need to understand as a business owner to the depth, so that you can communicate that more effectively to the marketing agency. Their work is to run a marketing ad for you, but not to understand the gap of your business, not to understand what problem you're solving, not to understand who are the set of people who need that and all of that. If you give them that message clearly, they will be able to do the job well. People think targeting is just the thing about running ads. That's not the point at all. There's a lot more that goes into generating relevant leads. Okay, so it's not the agency's fault. It's the business owner's responsibility to understand these things in business. You know, when we work with business owners, when we get these things right, because these are people who have spent lakhs and lakhs of rupees on lead generation, we get them to sometimes even pause their ad campaign, get these things right. Then when they get on a call with their marketing agency and explain these things to them, the marketing agency comes back and thanks us. Saying that, thank God, finally now we understood how to put this out. And now they get better relevant ads and they get better results coming back. Okay, so that is the problem if you have irrelevant leads. Or secondly, you're not generating enough leads. Okay, probably you're a miser, but that's not the case. If you're here, you're not a miser. The challenge is you're not investing money in your lead generation because you're not confident that the lead generation money that you're going to put in is going to create that ROI for you. Okay, if I would have told you, you know what, there is a gold mine and let's say someone's gone, you know, Rahul is gone, Preeti is gone, Aishwarya is gone, Vipul has gone, this person has gone, that person has gone, and you know, they've all taken a crore out of that gold mine and they've consistently been using it since the last 6 months to a year, and this is how they've been seeing the you know, whatever benefit of that in their life. But you need to find that 10 lakh first to get to that 1 crore, but this is a confidence and proof of how that's going to happen. You do not find that 10 lakhs to get to that 1 crore. Right? You will. If you have the complete confidence, you will. If you know how that ROI comes and there is proof of that ROI, you will. Correct? The problem is not the fact that you're not generating enough leads, you're not putting money into the leads. The problem is you're not clear that you can generate the ROI. You're not clear on how to generate leads effectively. Now, a mistake that people do is this. They think that there is only one source of lead generation, which is not true. There are multiple channels of lead generation. You know, in Bangalore, we had met, I think somewhere in the month of September, October, I had just been to Bangalore, met a few set of participants of mine from Bangalore. We were 15, 20 people in a room. And we all put together, created about 250 channels of lead generation for these businesses. Okay, and they were in awe of it. And most of them did not involve for them to spend any money on it. So there are multiple methods of lead generation. You can either put in time or you can put in money, but there are methods to do it in both the ways. Until unless I didn't make 5 lakhs consistently in my business, I did not put money into lead generation. It's from there that I kind of went ahead. Okay, but there are multiple methods to do this. We have had people who have used organic methods of lead generation, made money. This is again one of the participants who did that. Again, somebody else who found 50 less contact activity that opened up things. So there are multiple methods to do it. But the fact is, you need to fix this. You need regular flow of leads. You need to know the process and a system in place that can help you create that regular flow of leads. If that is not happening, you're just going to keep waiting and hoping for a client to show up. You need to know how to convert these leads. You need to know how to create relevant leads. Very, very important. I have had clients who've been talking to 1,000 leads a month, generating like 2 sales a month. Waste of time. Today, the same set of people are only talking to probably about 100 people or sometimes even lesser, but getting 12, 15, 20 people coming, and this is purely cold outreaches. From there, creating that level of conversion, because there's a way how you do that as well. Okay, so you need regular flow of leads in your business. You need relevant leads. You need to know how to convert sales. You need to know how to talk to the leads in a way to create sales. This is your strategy problem. Okay, now is the second one. Now just look at this. Just looking at the strategy. If we fix just one of these leads in your sales pipeline, how much more money do you think you would be making monthly if you fix even one of this? I've not even come to the next part of it. How much more money do you think you could be making in your business if you fix one of these? Yeah. Now we come to the next one. And the next is your work habits. The second challenge you have is your work habits. So either you don't have a sales system in terms of a lead generation system and a lead conversion system, or it's your work habits. Here's the question. How many of you spend every day in your business speaking to minimum 100 leads? And when I say you, it could be you or your team, doesn't matter. But how many of you in your business spend every day in your business speaking to minimum 100 leads? That's a point. I have one person from the entire set who's saying me. Forget 100 leads a day. How many of you end up speaking at least 100 leads in a week? When I talk to people, they're like, I take 3 sales calls a day, 3 sales calls a month, 10 sales calls a month. And then how are you expecting returns to come? You need to, as a business owner, spend 60% of your day focused on revenue generating activities, income producing activity. Just by being busy, you're never going to make money. Your aim is to focus on only income producing activities. Activities that directly generate revenue. Posting on social media is not counted as one of them. Okay, so don't tell me that. How many of you spend at least 60% of your time in the day doing sales activities? 60% of your day should go in sales. 20%, another 20% in marketing, and another 20% in rest of the operations, client management, and so on. If you're a solopreneur, this is how it is. If you have a team, then you obviously need one person completely dedicated for sales. How many of you do that? And if you don't have that happening, how are you going to create revenue in your business? जो कुआं से पानी निकलेगा आप खुद ही नहीं रहे हो वहां पे. How are you going to generate revenue? Because that's a mindset challenge. There's no income producing activity, just going by the day, and then you're hoping that hopefully you will touch your revenue target this year. How? How will you do it? So you need the obvious relevant things that you need to do, because there's no clarity on what you're supposed to do every day. You don't know how to get to that game there. You know, having worked with business owners for so many years, I have identified 3, I call it as the curses, 3 curses that business owners have, which actually is our strength, which turns out to be your curses gradually. Okay, and if you break these 3 curses in your business, you will see a completely different thing showing up in your business in terms of revenue, in terms of sales, in terms of who you are. Okay, the first and the foremost curse is this: the need for freedom, which is actually our superpower. But what happens is this need for freedom takes away any form of accountability in your business. How many of you have anybody holding you accountable if you don't get to your revenue goal? And friends and family don't count. Who are you accountable to if you don't get to your revenue goal? Who will ask you what happened, what went wrong, what actions were not taking, what missed? How many times did you sit back and do a complete review and understand and make changes? There's someone who told me I have a lot of leads that generated, but I'm still not getting to my revenue goal. Wow, when is the last time you sat down and checked what's going wrong in the whole process? You know, there's an entire sales tracker that we create when we work with the participants in long term. And most of them have never had a sales tracker for them. They don't even know how the entire sales flow is happening. Where is the challenge in the whole tracker? There's no sense of accountability. You're not accountable to anyone if you're not making that money. And this need for freedom takes away, you know, I read this somewhere, that if you want to come to the other side of your life, if you want to be successful, you want to make money, you want to come to whatever, right? Achieve whatever, healthy body, great relationship, whatever. You have to stop waiting to have the mood to do it. You should do it because it's required to do it. So if you stop doing things, or if you do things, आज दिल किया तो काम करेंगे, नहीं दिल किया नहीं किया, आज show up किया नहीं show up किया, never getting the results, because there is certain things that you need to do and you need to know when and what. The second curse that business owners have is the need to figure things out. Explorers, adventurers, which is all great, but this need to figure things out keeps taking you in circles, circle after circle after circle, because you're figuring it out yourself. And you keep going through that. And then somebody comes less talented, half as talented as you, takes help, asks the right people, goes the right way, and just keeps going ahead. And you keep wondering, hey, how did this happen? This needs to figure things out by yourself, makes you feel you can't, anybody else, nobody else can create a better solution than you. Takes away your ability to ask for help, which is a superpower we have as human beings. Takes away your ability to delegate. Sab mujhe karna hai, I can only do this right. You can't delegate, you can't ask for help, you can't take the right direction, and you keep going around in circle for years after years. And then some give up, और some say अपने से नहीं होगा, some say नसीब खराब है, client ऐसा है, market ऐसा है, market saturated है तो आपके market में कोई कुछ नहीं कर रहा, no one's successful. That's not true. You have not identified how to crack a market. I can give you example after example of so many businesses who have come in a crowded market, broke the market, become market leaders, and just turn that around. And you all can find it. Go Google it, YouTube it, you'll find it. And the third and the most important thing, the third and the most important curse that business owners have, where they say my market or my product is different. You know, you're like that parent with an over-pampered, spoiled child. बच्चा नीचे जाके उद्धम मचा रहा है, बच्चे पेरेंट्स वाले करे जाने दो, बच्चा है, छोड़ दो. You're so product obsessed, you're so into it that you can't see your business from your client's perspective. And you just want to say, लोगों को नहीं, उनको blame करना बंद करो. You're selling to a human being. You need to know how to come on the other side and see your entire market from your client's perspective, not from your perspective, because they are your buyers. And once you give yourself the permission to break these three curses, you will go places in your business. That will take you to a completely different place. You'll have more clarity, ask for help at the right time, do the right things, implement the right strategies, change your mindset, take the right step, right action, and go out there and do it. That's it. Otherwise, you'll keep going after webinar, bootcamp after bootcamp, hoping for something to change, hoping for something to magically transform. It doesn't happen. This needs a step-by-step strategy. It needs a step-by-step system. It needs a step-by-step process. Sales is not something that you can learn from. I'm going to tomorrow teach you how to do, sales scripts, objection handling, a part of cold calling and all of that. But sales is not something that you learn just by some book or by listening to someone do it. You need to do it. You need someone to give you those reviews. You need someone to give you that feedback. You need someone to work with you in every single step and implement the sales system and strategy for you from where the sales can become effective. Here's my question to all of you. How many of you are really, really serious about creating that desired revenue in your business for this year? Like not just saying, not the drifters, but the driven ones. And how many of you feel that if you put a system and a strategy and all that we spoke about today, getting to that number is actually doable? How many of you feel that? Yeah? How many of you would love a chance if you get a chance to work on a long-term journey more closely with me and my team, where we help you implement each of these things? You don't have to figure this out yourself. You don't have to discover this for yourself. We will show you at each step how to implement each of these steps, how to find your gaps, how to position yourself differently, how to craft your offers, how to put your offers out there, how to communicate your value effectively, how to do sales like it's just your second nature to get sales and get people to pay you, how to handle objections effectively, how to charge higher prices, and how to have someone to handle you at every single step and get you to the other side till you get to the result. How many of you would love for that, or how many of you would want that in your business, and you know that if you get to that, you can actually get to the other side of it? How many of you would want that? Okay, so here's the thing, right? Tomorrow I'm going to tell you about the long-term journey. Now, obviously, when I'm teaching you high-ticket sales, I am not giving a low-ticket product. It is a high-ticket journey. It's a journey for 6 months. We don't work on a time frame journey. We work on a result frame journey. Okay, because my aim when I'll invite you on the journey is to help you double your revenue. Okay, that's my aim. All right, I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. But if you're really, really serious about making this happen for you in your business, tomorrow come mentally prepared to block your seat if this is what calls out to you. I will be presenting you with an offer, giving you a chance to book your seat, to work with my team on the long-term journey, to work very closely and to get to results. I don't charge people for the time I poured for any of that. We work with you on results. My aim is next 6 months, double your revenue. We have seen people do that in 4 months as well, but I will not overcome it. I'd rather undercome it and over deliver. That's how we work. Okay, 6 months, I'm looking at limited people. We only want 15 people coming in to work with us. 6 months to double your revenue because we work very closely to create that kind of a result. If that's what calls out to you, come with a deposit amount in hand. Okay, I'm going to give you the offer. You will not be expected. It's not cheap for sure. It is a high ticket product, but I'm not going to ask you for an arm and a leg. I'm not going to ask you to pay in full either. I'm going to ask you to just block your seat tomorrow with a deposit amount. Because the offer I'm going to give you is going to have certain bonuses, is going to have certain special offers coming your way, which I don't keep repeating and keep coming and bringing it back to you. Okay? So for you to avail all of that, come with a deposit in hand. Carry 25,000 as the deposit amount so that you can block your seat when that offer comes. Okay? Because it's going to come for a limited time. It's going to come in for a limited set of people. I only want 15 people. Okay, each batch we decide how many people we're taking in and that's it. My aim for this year is to work with at least 100 business owners and take them to their first 8-figure a month. Okay, that is my aim for 100 business owners. As I said, right now we're preparing some awards for our business owners who are already in the journey, and we have people who have done 10x of their sales as well. Okay, now that is how we work. That is how we actually take you on this journey. Okay, so if you think, okay, this is what you want, you really want to turn around your business, your revenue, and actually get to the result, then come with a deposit amount in hand. If you're struggling financially, if there are challenges, if there are issues, I would say ask yourself this question. If you do not get to that result in the next 6 months, what would that cost you? Ask the question as a winner, as a driven, not as a drifter. Okay, and from that place, look for the resources. Because when I invested and when I found the right people to show me the strategies, the first step that I took at that time when I was broke, would not even have 5,000 rupees, I invested into 4.5 lakh course. My cost value is lesser than that. Okay, but I found it out. How? 50,000 was the deposit they said. I called 10 friends, got them to give me 5,000, and that's why I started that first step. And from there, many more things that I learned. And before that, also I had learned a lot of things. Okay, it's about giving yourself that chance. And the one thing that I commit to you is if I work with you, I work with you for results. Okay, this is not going to be like, okay, that's it. Now this did not happen. 6 months, sorry, time up. No, we work with you till we create results, and that's what we're known for. All right, so if you're really, really serious, come in tomorrow with that deposit amount. Tomorrow, I'm going to cover, we've not done yet, by the way. Tomorrow, I'm going to cover how to use, I've still not done that. That is using your high ticket sales script, because still your foundation is not right. The high ticket sales script wouldn't make sense. Tomorrow, I'll use 2 of the businesses amongst you guys as an example, and I'll show you how to use the high ticket sales script. Okay, so for your business. All right, and from there, I'll teach you how to do objection handling, and I'll also cover a small part of cold calling. I'm not covering cold calling intensively, and then I'll tell you about the long-term journey as well tomorrow. So come in with time in hand, come in mentally prepared to take that decision. If there are conversations, thoughts, limitations that's coming in your head, speak to my team today. I understand that this happens. And I understand that this is normal. So if you're getting fear, if you're getting anxiety, if you're getting, where will I find the money? I don't have the money. Oh my God, now she's going to sell a course. I am going to, because I want to serve you. I want to work with you longer. 3 days, this is the max I can do. And if you've got little insights, imagine the power of implementation. And we have stories after stories of people who had almost given up, or almost shutting down their businesses, today are doing so phenomenally well with their results and with their business. And that's my invitation for you. Okay? So come with that mindset, come with that mental preparation. If these voices come in, you all have my team number from whom you must have received some calls. Message those guys. Tell them I want to talk. I want to discuss. Speak to them. Speak to them about their challenges. We understand. Right? Because we've all seen tough days, we've all seen bad days, and I know how it feels. But speak. Right? But don't sit there hoping things will change, because things don't just magically change. you need strategy, you need mindset and perspective. These three things together is what creates results. Either one of this remote doesn't create results. And I work with you on all three angles of it. Cool? Yes? Right? So here's what we're going to do tomorrow. Let me give you a quick insight of what I'll do with you tomorrow. By the way, just a quick gist of changing work habits, what that can do for you. And then from there, what we do tomorrow. Here's what we were doing with a particular group, certain days of work on working with their mindset. I'm more confident that I can plan my retirement on my 40 itself. All Bharat dreams are popping up. Closed one more entry today. We happily welcomed our first student from South Korea 2025, started with 2 new signups, including international sign-up. This guy is right now, this guy was stuck for the longest time that I've known. For the first 6 months of his journey, actually, he didn't do any action. And he was stuck, and I was wondering what's happening. Once we said, okay, get him on a one-on-one call. We need to know what's happening. His wife also showed up on that call. And he said, the business he's come to you guys for, he's not even passionate about it. He's just doing it as an obligation. I said, then what are you passionate about? He said, I'm a classical dancer. He loves music. He's been a classical musician. That's the business he's passionate about. We said, forget the business you're working with on. Let's restart. And we started from scratch with him. And this guy today, in a period of Jan is when we actually restarted with him. And this guy today has gone to actually acquire 100 clients in a period of 2 or 3 months. Okay, and that's the power of what just a mindset shift and a work habit shift can do. Right? This was another participant who was not willing to pick up a call. Where he said a very proactive prospect who was about to book asked for sample shoot that we don't have on our profile. Even though I clearly said we don't have something like that, it made me anxious to call him and explain what else we can do, and they can still trust us. This might sound greedy and they can sense that fear in me, so I'm not calling them and just waiting to hear back. And I told them, just pick up that call and speak, don't push, but show them how you can help. Your results wait beyond that anxiety. Best case, you'll get a client. Worst, you'll have a lesson. Pick up that call and share in the group. Okay, and then he comes forward and said, took some time, but we were able to close this at our desired price. That's the power of what a mindset shift and a work habit shift can do for you. Okay, and again, a lot of people like that speaking about it. So tomorrow we'll cover high ticket selling script, mastering the art of handling objections, understand your client's decision-making triggers, how to get people to stop negotiating with you for your price, how to ask for the money you desire and get it, and your opportunity to start on a new wealth trajectory, and a little aspect of cold calling. This is how your tomorrow is going to look like. So tomorrow is when I'm going to actually come to sales strategies in terms of the sales communication, closing, and so on. Until now, we are putting your foundation of sales in place. Your first level that's needed, that's your filling the gap, your positioning, your target audience, your offer, and all of that before you even get to sales. Okay, so tomorrow is where we're going to do the sales strategies. All right, so come in tomorrow, sharp on time, 7 p.m. Do not miss it, because we have a lot more work to do, not yet done. And if you are looking for the long-term journey to work more closely with me, bring in that deposit amount of 25,000 so that you can block your seat and so that you can get the best out of it. Don't sit on excuses. Don't give excuses. I want action takers. I want people who are willing to take that decision and take that step. Okay, if you have any questions asked, we are going to open that up for you tomorrow. You will be able to answer it. Okay, you'll get all your answers and take your step based on that. But just come with that mental preparation of taking action. Don't sit on reasons and excuses. Okay, and tomorrow we're going to do a meeting format so that I can see more of you. So please come in with your videos on, as I would love to see you and I would love to talk to you. I had not known today was this format. I would love to see you, talk to you, and have more conversations with you. So tomorrow is going to be more conversational as well. Okay, so come in with your videos on. Okay, all right. With that, see you guys and take care. I have a question. I'm going to quickly take that. If my current ticket size 1,000 per table minimum and I generate at least 500 per table, would that be considered 50% conversion? Just send in this message to the team and I'll get the team to answer this for you. Right? Okay, so with that, see you guys. Take care. If you all have any questions, send in the questions to the team and we'll get the team to answer it for you. And if the team is stuck, they'll come back and ask me about it. But then just send in your questions to the team and we'll get that answered for you. Okay? Tomorrow, sharp 7 p.m. Come in, you've made it to day 2. Tomorrow is day 3, where you actually learn high ticket selling, objection handling. So your actual key thing that you thought is what makes sales, I'll show you how to make that happen. How to make that happen so effortlessly, so swiftly that you can get to 70% conversions, and how you'll have people saying a yes to you, and how money is not going to come in the way. Okay, but for money to not come in the way, all that we spoke about today is important. Without that, just the script doesn't work. Okay, I hope you guys had some learning, some insights, some new perspective, have been seeing sales differently, getting a different approach and understanding about sales than just thinking it's about the sales script. And I hope this has been meaningful. I love talking to you. I had a great time. Looking forward to see you all tomorrow soon, 7 p.m. Take care. Bye-bye. Good night.